There we go. Hi everybody! We're gonna beat Phoenix Wright today. I don't even remember where we are. I think we're in the middle of the trial. I don't remember. So this is gonna be fun. Let's see. Alrighty. Yeah, we're in the trial. Okay, why do I have multiple saves? I don't remember why I have multiple saves, but we're gonna pick up on this one. I don't know what I did. Okay, anyway. We are on the... Don't forget after this, you still have to rise from the... Oh. Man. I thought I was done. Shit. I forgot about Rise from the Ashes. Do I have to... What if I don't stream that one? And you just watch me suffer privately? Because I want to play Kingdom Hearts. Oh, okay. We're like in the middle of a trial. Okay. After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. Thought it was my duty. Oh yeah, she was, audio's weird. Okay, let's see. Do 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 do. Thought it was my duty to protect the future master of the Curian tradition. So I removed the body from the inner temple by myself. Dragged it behind me all the way across Dusty Bridge. Then I used a snowmobile to carry it back to Hazakura Temple and... I used a Shitishito to alter the way the wound looked. So you moved the body. Yes, I was raised at Hazakura Temple. I owe a great deal of thanks to the Fae clan. But even so, I never imagined that Elise Donium was actually Misty Fae. I've committed a terrible sin. I think it's too loud and picking up on the mic. I have my headphones in, it shouldn't be picking up on the mic, but let me turn it down. There we go. A terrible trick of fate. I believe you're looking for a twist of fate, Your Honor. Might also be this. Is it still being weird? If so, I can mess around with some other stuff. I intended to... Still weird? What about that? Let's see if that fixes it. I intend to return to the inner temple after taking care of the body, but... It's echoing? I don't know how to fix echoing. Oh, that was better? Okay. But now I'm quiet. Let me do this. What about that? Is that still echoing? Can you hear me? So everything will work one stream and then I'll boot it up the next stream and nothing works. You're spotted by the head nun, correct? Yes, and that's why I couldn't go back. Your story makes sense, I suppose. Mr. Wright, go ahead with your cross-examination. Let me turn this up a little bit now. Oops. How's this if I do this? Never mind, still echoing? Swear, I don't know what to do. Go ahead with your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. I just want to have some music so there's some audio so we can see if I can fix it. Okay.
Objection!
What about now? How does that fix it? Now it's gonna echo again. Sometimes when I'm watching lawyers argue back and forth with each other, I feel so helpless that I just sit quietly and wait for them to reach a conclusion. It's back to echoing. God damn it. Okay, let me see something. Okay. Oh, now I'm really loud. Hold on. But did that fix it? I hope that fixed it. Isn't it your job as the judge to mediate the argument? It wasn't until Mystic Maya saw me that it finally dawned on her what she had done. So I figured out the issue. It was using the wrong input for the microphone, so I was turning off the microphone by accident and I switched it. So I don't know what's up with the microphone. Thought it was my duty to protect the future. So then, you knew? You knew the significance of the name Maya Fey? Yes, of course I did. That's odd. I mean, Sister Bikini didn't recognize Maya's name, let alone her position. Anyway, she was a very special person indeed. Should I remove the body from the inner temple itself? Why did you do that? Because I didn't want Mystic... Oh, I was doing a voice for her, wasn't I? Oh well. Because I didn't want Mystic Maya to be suspected in any way. But the best thing would be to remove the body from the crime scene. Remove the body all by yourself? Yes, I did. It would have been possible if it wasn't for the snow. Snow, huh? Right behind me all the way across Dusky Bridge. It's pretty amazing you can make it all the way across. That's a rickety old bridge. It looks worse than it is. It's surprisingly sturdy despite its age. It's like they say, idiots are too stupid to catch even a simple cold. There's one other thing that bothers me. Why not just throw the body into the Eagle River? It would have been much easier than dragging it all the way to Hazakura Temple. Thought that it would still cast too much suspicion on Mystic Maya. That's why I tried to take the body as far away as possible. Makes perfect sense to me. For the time being. Anyway, what did you do after you crossed the bridge? Use the snowmobile to carry it back. The snowmobile? I knew that would show up sooner or later. Yes, I had the key. I used a snowmobile to travel from Hazakura Temple to Dusky Bridge. This is the part that was in question the other day. Should I ask for more details? Billy didn't move her body by the snowmobile. Then there should be tracks left in the snow, right? Well, yes, naturally you'd expect tracks. This picture was presented at yesterday's trial. Are these the tracks from that ride? Yes, I think they are. But I can only see one set of tracks here. I don't see what's so strange about that. Snow was still falling when I left Hazakura Temple. I see, snow was still falling, huh? And then when the murder took place, it had already stopped. That's why there are such fresh-looking tracks. How about it, Mr. Wright? What do you think about this testimony? It's very important. It's very important. I'm trying to think. Right, because of the time. Hazakura Temple. Snow from 7 to 10:50. What time did the murder take place? To 11, okay. Very important. The murder took place, the snow had already stopped. That doesn't make sense if you stack it up against the other evidence. Your Honor, unlike the statement Irish just made, added to the testimony. But does that have something to do with the case? All be made clear if you allow her statement to be added to the record. This should be fun. Let's get this snow business cleared up, shall we? Yes, sir. By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. That what you're doing when Sister Bikini saw you? Yes, that's right. She probably thought the worst. Probably. More like definitely. I see. So Sister Bikini mistakenly thought you were the one that murdered Miss Donium. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. It's my fault that this case has gotten so confusing. There have been a lot of contradictions in your testimony so far. This time, are you sure it's all true? Yes, I am. When the murder happened, the snow had already stopped. According to you, that's why the snowmobile tracks were so clear. That's right. I'm certain of it. I think I've trapped her this time. I see how you think. Snow, huh? What's going on here? Snow really had stopped by the time of the murder. I mean, there's a bigger hole in the story than the movie The Grid Revelations. Well then, Mr. Tribble, perhaps you'd like to share your theory with us? Let's see what's up your sleeve, or rather, the end of your index finger. Don't want to believe it, but I don't think my logic is failing me. I was just trying to pin the murder on Maya. Well, why would she want to do that? It's only one reason I can think of. Okay, now I have to remember what happened and what evidence I need to present. What do I need to present? The weather report, maybe? Weather report? Is that a JoJo reference? Okay, that's that. This is this courtyard. But I don't have a picture of the other courtyard, and I'm trying to remember why the snow was important in that courtyard. It was not lit the night of the crime. Okay, I'm gonna present the weather. I'm gonna save and present the weather report because I don't remember. Okay, let's present the weather report for starters.
Objection!
Not the weather report. Reload right here. Okay, then what? Why was the snow important? I'm trying to remember. This is what happens when I take a break from a game for too long. There's something about the snow. Not the autopsy report. Okay, is it the fucking lantern?
Objection!
Present every piece of evidence until I figure this out. Because I don't know. Oh, if the snow had already stopped, then the bridge was already on fire. Okay, hold up. I'm putting all the pieces together again.
Objection!
It's not that, right? No. Okay, so she couldn't have crossed the bridge. What do I need to present to talk about that? Am I missing something? Do I need to press something else that I didn't press? Let me press this again because it had two options. I asked about the tracks. Let me ask about the snowmobile. Let me hear more about the snowmobile ride. Well, it was very cold that night, so I rode it all the way to the foot of the...
Objection!
I'm sorry, witness, but no, I've got a problem with your testimony. Excuse me? Okay, Okay, so there was something else I needed to press. What are you up to now? That night, after the head nun left the remainder of the training to you, she said she walked from the inner temple back to Hazakura Temple. Yes, I'm fairly certain that's what the record indicates. Let's recall her comments on the subject. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. Snowmobile was in front of the main gate. It's one of those contradictions, wouldn't you say? Order! Mr. Godot! Why are you pointing out contradictions in the witness's testimony? Let's just say I like things to be neat and tidy, okay? Well, maybe Sister Bikini missed it. Yes, maybe she didn't see it. You think she missed it? That doesn't sound right. Whatever. Even I don't think this is decisive enough to warrant any more time or effort. It's just, you better be careful in your testimony. That's all I wanted to say. Smart little cookie like you shouldn't have any trouble understanding that. Yes, sir. What was that all about? Why would Godot want to give me a hint? Very well, then let's continue with the testimony. So you transported the body by snowmobile all the way to Hazakura Temple Courtyard? Yes, I thought that way Mystic Maya would never be suspected. That's what I thought anyway. And then Snow had already stopped. What do I present? I know I need this, and I know I need to talk. If the snow had stopped, the bridge was on fire. Trying to figure it out. Trying to figure this out. We still haven't figured out the body fell 10 feet after death. I know that much. And then the profiles is there. Let me see if Phoenix will give me a hint. I want to believe it, but I don't think my logic is failing me. I was just trying to pin the murder on Maya. I wish she meant to do that. There's only one reason I can think of.
Hold it!
So then you knew the significance of the name, yes. You're presenting something on the wrong.
Hold it!
Did I press this? Until everything was over.
Objection!
Okay. I can figure this out. Let me do this. All the way behind me across Dusky Bridge. Let me try this.
Objection!
Okay. So I was just presenting the right piece of evidence on the wrong statement again. Then the snow had already stopped when the murder occurred. But I'm sorry, Iris, that just isn't possible. What? This is the weather data from the night of the murder. According to this, the snow didn't stop until 10:50. But you couldn't have crossed Dusky Bridge at the time. Why do you say that? Because 5 minutes before the snow stopped, Dusky Bridge was struck by lightning and had caught on fire. What did you say? The bridge... it was on fire? You don't mean to say you didn't know about it? It's because of that lightning strike that the bridge burned down. What? But it can't be. It can't be. Looks like you still haven't figured it out. No matter how hard you try to deceive or conceal the truth, you can't pull the wool over the eyes of a real defense attorney. Order, order, order. The bridge was already on fire when the incident took place. That's right, the inner temple was already totally cut off from the outside world. There's no way you could have crossed the bridge, body or no body. Witness, even my patience has its limits. Any further lying and I will find you in contempt of court. Do you have anything to say for yourself?
Objection!
The only person here that is truly contemptible is you. Old man. Me? How dare you? Whether this witness lied or did not doesn't mean squat right now. Squat? The important thing is now is to find out the truth. Isn't that right? Yes, of course, but whether it was snowing or not snowing, or whether the bridge was burning or not, there are two facts that can't be disputed. First, the body of Elise Stonium was discovered in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. Second, the head nun, Sister Bikini, witnessed Iris desecrating Elise Stonium's body. Makes a good point on both accounts. That's right. I'm not lying. What are you claiming this time? I wasn't myself at all that night, so my memory is still somewhat hazy.
Objection!
You have stood at that witness stand and testified this entire time. Are you telling us now that your memory of that night is hazy? It's only human to err. If you're so perfect, right? Maybe you can explain this for the court? What is it? Whether the murder happened, the bridge had already burnt down. And somehow the body traveled across the bridge was found in the temple courtyard. Perhaps you have some kind of perfect explanation for this little magic trick? Well, not exactly, no. No, there must be some other way she got across that burnt out bridge. But unless I can somehow demonstrate it, we'll never know the truth. I still don't know. I still haven't put these pieces together. Looks like the defense is not prepared to offer a suitable explanation. See what I mean? In other words, they're in no position to suggest that this lady's testimony isn't the truth. Alright then, witness, let's hear your testimony once more. About what, Your Honor? You admitted that you moved the victim's body. Nevertheless, your prior testimony contained a rather large inconsistency. Please add an explanation for that to your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. Will this be her final testimony? Other than walking over the bridge, there's no way to move the body. So I must have just gotten confused, I guess. Was the snow still falling or had it stopped? Does it really matter that much? Are you saying that there's a way to cross a burning bridge? Bitch, that ain't no testimony! So it's just a misunderstanding, I see. This is a photo of Dusky Bridge after it burned down from the lightning blast. Taken the morning after the incident. Hello, hello! I'm just walking home from getting a picture frame for an art commission as a friend's birthday gift. Awesome! What's up, Igloo? Certainly was burned to a crisp, and one of the suspension wires even snapped. It's amazing the whole bridge didn't fall. They're gonna suggest she swung. Clearly, it would be impossible to carry a corpse across a bridge in this condition. Unless I do something to discredit this testimony, it's going to be deemed as truth, and Maya will be accused of murder. Right. I'm only going to say this one more time. It's only human to err, and only humans can spot the errors of our ways. The more sense he makes, the less sense he makes. Same old, definitely took an accidental nap roulette nap. Ah. No, I take naps on purpose. I say they're accidental, but sometimes it's just like, I can feel myself getting sleepy, and I'm like, well, I could take a nap. I should take a nap. And then I just take a nap. Alright, Mr. Wright, please begin your final cross-examination. Yes, but if the snow had already stopped when the incident took place... Let me turn this on. I couldn't have crossed the bridge, naturally. But I think it's just like Mr. Godot said. The body did make it across somehow. So I must have just gotten confused, I guess. You seemed to be quite sure of yourself when you gave your testimony. Actually, I didn't mean to fall asleep, but I do love taking naps. I love falling asleep. I love sleeping. Love naps. You said you were sure the snow had already stopped. I'm terribly sorry, I was wrong. Does she really think an apology is going to get her off the hook? Was the snow still falling, or had it stopped? Does it really matter that much? This is no joke. You're giving a sworn testimony in a court of law. Well, Mr. Wright, let me ask you a question. Do you remember what the weather was like 1 week ago today? Huh? Well, naturally it was, You see? It's not that easy to remember, is it? But if it had been some kind of special day, I would have remembered. For example, it was pouring rain on the day of my elementary school graduation. No one wants to hear about your childhood traumas, Wright. I do. What? By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. You insist on obsessing over that one statement. Let's see the proof. Show some evidence that the body somehow crossed the bridge while it was on fire.
Hold it!
Well, I don't see why there couldn't be a way across. Mr. Wright, don't you think that sounds a bit silly? Dead body crossing a burning bridge. Did anyone actually witness such a thing? Ah, if there was, I don't think you'd call someone like that a witness. After all, a dream isn't the same as actually seeing something. Come all this way, so everyone to figure this out. How do you transport a body across a burning bridge? But I don't know the exact answer yet, it's okay. Start by examining all my evidence and see where it takes me. Gotta be like a shark. If I don't keep moving, it's good as dead.
Hold it!
Oops, I hit the wrong button. I meant to hit R, not L. Where's our picture? Where's our picture Larry drew us?
Objection!
Dead body flying over a burning bridge. Wouldn't exactly rule out the possibility. What? Ah, you're saying it's possible? Don't make me laugh. The only thing that's possible about your claims that it's been pulled out of thin air. Sorry. I don't know about I don't know about that. In case, we do have a witness who did see it happen. Who is it? Who is this witness? Can't chicken out here. I've got to keep on the attack and go, go, go. Miss Lee Stonium's brilliant and highly gifted apprentice. Larry Stonium. Brilliant? Highly gifted? Apprentice? Remember what he said in his testimony. That night he was at the Mountain Shack, Heavenly Hall. And that's when he witnessed the event. I think you've all seen this sketch before. It's an exact drawing of what he witnessed that night. Are you serious? Today is not April Fool's Day, is it? Mr. Wright, are you seriously claiming the victim flew through the air? Using this pathetic scribble in support of your argument? Oh, the judge looks like he's about to blow a gasket. Huh. Well, Wright, there's nowhere for you to hide now. Then, looks like it was drawn by a 6-year-old. Does the sketch prove anything? Yes, I'm pretty sure it does, and I'm going to prove it. Listen, I know your tricks. You're trying to turn this whole thing upside down. I've been waiting! The picture's upside down, guys! I've been waiting for this! If you're so eager to turn this case upside down, why not start with this sketch? Upside down? Why did Godot say that? Alright then, let's hear the defense's theory. What exactly is this sketch trying to show? I don't think old Whisker Face is going to forgive any more mistakes. Alright, Phoenix, look carefully and think it over. The sketch is drawn by Wright is... hold on, let me see. It's stressing me out. I do with the borders and sodium when I get home and have to glue a bunch of magnets. Evidence of nothing, a complete contradiction. Exactly what happened. I'm gonna go exactly what happened. Of course the victim was flying through the air. No. That's not what I meant. No, you're starting to remind me of yesterday's witness. The last thing I wanted to hear. Do you have any evidence that the victim flew through the air? Just so you know, we haven't discovered a giant human catapult at the Inner Temple yet. Wish they had. I thought he would... Yeah, okay. So I need to figure out how to get them to realize it's upside down. I don't know which one to say. You're a lousy lawyer. 1 cup's worth of entertainment. I think we should skip the penalty this time. Some way, I just know it. There must be some way to show the truth. They're showing me it's upside down because Larry's upside down. I knew this picture was upside down. Witness will now return to her testimony. I need to go back to that. Okay. Do I have to really redo all of that because I fucked up? Yeah, okay.
Objection!
I guess I could just reload. Now it comes back to this. Admit that I didn't understand it before, but I get it now. So I believe the sketch shows the truth. Very well. Alright then, let's hear the defense's theory. What exactly is the sketch trying to show? Alright. A complete contradiction. Evidence of nothing. I think it's a complete contradiction. Something's obviously funny about this sketch. No art critic, but even I can see that. No, that's not what I meant, Your Honor. Ristonio stated it over and over. The sketch is exactly how he saw it. However, if we were to believe his testimony, then the sketch contradicts reality as we know it. It contradicts reality? Ah, this is getting interesting. It's like you're back to that finger pointing thing again. Okay, try. What exactly contradicts reality as we know it? This wire connected to the bridge. A wire? Ah, that's the thing that contradicts reality. It is indeed. Show us the reality supposedly conflicts with. Show us something that will point out how the sketch contradicts reality.
Take that!
It's a photo of Dusky Bridge, correct? Yes, now compare the sketch and the photo for a minute. In the sketch, the wires appear to be above the guard wires. But on the actual Dusky Bridge, jumping Jehoshaphat, the wires are below the guard wires. What? Order! The sketch is somewhat different than what predicted in the photo. However, isn't it likely that the artist just saw it wrong? Perhaps he just drew it wrong. Either way, it sounds like you're just wrong. With someone like Larice, I admit a mistake is a definite possibility. That begs the question. Why did he make a mistake? What is the reason? You saying you know the answer to that? Listen, think back, alright? Remember what Larice was doing when he witnessed this event. He was at Heavenly Hall waiting for a lover that was never going to come. He waited and waited, and finally he laid down. But then, lightning shoots at the sky and sets the bridge afire. Now ponder what sort of position Larice must have been in at the time. He's lying on his back, which is why he remembered the scene the way he did. He's lying on his back? I can't see how it relates. But it does, Your Honor. I've been waiting for this! I knew this picture was, like, wrong a while back, and I knew it was going to be because they kept showing Larry upside down. I was like, there's something about this. I've been waiting for this to come back. It's the reason why the wires in the sketch go up instead of down. Ah! No way. Larice Stonium witnessed the event while he was lying on his back, face up. In other words, the scene that he saw was actually upside down. So then, the sketch should actually... I think you're finally getting it, Your Honor. The correct way to view Larice Stonium's sketch is like this. This is how it should actually look. The victim's body wasn't flying above the bridge. It was actually swinging below. That's right, just like a pendulum.
Objection!
Of all the things to say, a pendulum? The bridge was burning to a crisp. There was no way to get across it. But if the body had been found at the inner temple, it would have caused problems. It's where the criminal decided to take a gamble. They used the burning bridge to get the body across to the other side. The pendulum was the only way to get it done. Let's think about this for a minute, shall we? Dusky Bridge is about 20 yards long. It means it's about that far from the inner temple to the opposite cliff. Yes, that sounds right. In order to cover that distance with a pendulum, you need a rope at least 10 yards long. To get a rope that long, you have to plan ahead. It's the snapped wire! Lightning strike that night could have only been an accident, so it doesn't make sense the culprit would have prepared the rope beforehand. So then, they didn't have to get the rope ready. The rope was already right in front of them. What? Saying it was just a matter of using what was already there. In that case, Mr. Wright, please give us an explanation to support your theory. Makes you think the criminal had the rope on hand to create the pendulum.
Take that!
And the meaning of this is, you want to know where the rope came from? It's hanging right there in front of your glorious beard. Ah. This is one of the wires from the bridge. When lightning struck the bridge and set it on fire, one of the suspension wires came loose from its anchor. The criminal didn't have any time to waste. They tied the wire around Larice Stonium's body. And that's where she fell. She didn't fall 10 feet. She swung 10 yards or whatever it was. Simply no other way to move the body. Mr. Godot? He's trying to drown himself with his coffee. Seems that Mr. Godot is more focused on his coffee than answering my question. Seems that the odds of a rope being readily available were very high, so I suppose that it's not an impossibility.
Objection!
Possible or impossible? That's not the question we need to ask. There's only one question. Did that really happen? Trite, I wonder if you could prove what happened to us. Do you have any actual evidence the body was swung over like a pendulum? This is my gamble.
Take that!
Before I present my evidence, let me review what we know so far. According to this photo, one of the wires snapped. Looking at the map, we can see it's the one that was in front of the inner temple. And that was the spot where the criminal... Yes, precisely. Now let's consider the body's movement again by looking at the overhead map. The body was pushed from this point over here. It would drop on the opposite bank at approximately this point. Did you say drop? Well, they must have failed to catch the body on the other bank. What makes you think something like that happened? Because I have evidence that suggests her body dropped some distance. What kind of evidence? The autopsy report! Take a look at this autopsy report. It says here that her body fell about 10 feet after her death. 10 feet, huh? It's most likely the height difference between the two sides. Body overswung due to forward momentum, but then came loose and fell about 10 feet. Then as a result of the landing impact, this crystal sphere was knocked loose. That's... Yes, this blood-stained amethyst crystal is the one that came off Miss Elise Stonium's staff. And even more important is the place where this crystal sphere was found. Indeed, I believe it's already marked in this overhead map. The crystal was found... Ah! Precisely, Your Honor. In the very spot where the pendulum would arrive if given the right amount of speed. This explains your theory quite well, Mr. Wright. You provided us with the way the body could have been moved that night. Impressive deduction, Mr. Wright. Most impressive. Mr. Wright? I thought this cold coffee might help cool you down. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Godot? That was a dark and bitter guess that you made, Wright. You forgot about one thing. Oh, and what would that be? The aroma. Huh? Coffee's most reliable accompaniment to its deep and profound aroma. The rest of the court doesn't speak Coffinese. Can you elaborate a little bit more? Criminal had sent the body to the other side, like you say. Then naturally, there must have been an accomplice lying in wait to catch it. An accomplice? Criminal wasn't able to cross Dusky Bridge, so who collected the body? What do you have to say about that, Wright? Mr. Godot is correct. This can't be the work of a single person. Well, Mr. Wright, you know what you must do. Yes, Your Honor. Body couldn't have made it Hazakura Temple without an accomplice. Okay. So we know someone was, channeling... Who could it have been? Well, someone was channeling, what's her name? Dahlia? Or Delia? Dahlia. Someone was channeling Dahlia because they had left the instructions for Pearl, but somebody else found them. And she couldn't channel Dahlia, but somebody else was. Who was channeling Dahlia? The only other person it could have been. Very well then, if you please, Mr. Wright. Who was the person that received the body on the Hazakura Temple side? Who was channeling Dahlia? I mean, the answer is Dahlia. Like, Dahlia was the one who... But who was channeling her? Unless Bikini... Like... So it comes back to me thinking just Bikini lied about everything. But I don't know. Because somebody saw Iris/Dahlia. Somebody saw one of the girls stab her. That's what Bikini said. Bikini said she saw Iris stab her. Well, Iris and Dahlia are twins, so they look exactly alike. So my guess is it was Dahlia, but who was channeling her?
Take that!
Well, Mr. Godot, I'm sure you have something to say. That aroma just now smelled of sulfur. Perhaps your chances of winning are rotting away. Can't get my facts all mixed up like this. Did the accomplice receive the body of the carriage house of our temple? I altered it. There's only one person it can be. Right, please don't stare at me like that. It's creepy. There's only one other person. Like... Okay. It wasn't Maya. Unless it was Maya. Oh, Maya's locked away. Maya's in the... It's not Maya. It's obviously not Mia. Pearl couldn't channel her, so Pearl wasn't there. she's the victim. He was asleep. Thought it was Dahlia because someone was channeling her, but maybe it wasn't. She's in jail. The only person could be is Bikini.
Take that!
What am I missing? I'm forgetting something. I'm missing something. Unless... No. Unless... Yeah! Okay, I figured it out! I figured it out! I got it. It can only be you, Sister Iris. Huh? Huh? But I don't see why you're so surprised. The only way to transport the body from Dusky Bridge is by snowmobile. With her bad back, Sister Bikini could never pick up a body like that. The only one that could have managed it.
Objection!
That's right. Were you even listening to the witness's testimony? The night of the crime, this little cutie pie was on cleanup duty in the inner temple garden after mother-daughter bloodshed.
Objection!
I haven't forgotten, but have you, Mr. Godot? This witness was also seen at Hazakura Temple, desecrating the corpse of the victim. Strange indeed. It's almost as if on that night the defendant was in two different places at the same time, which means one of them was Dahlia. Sister Iris, let me ask you something. Why didn't you mention it when you first gave your testimony? Mention what? The pendulum, of course. Using the sketch drawing by an eyewitness, I've established how the body was moved using the burnt-out bridge, which means it's now a fact that this occurred, something you should have already known. No, I had no idea. I didn't know anything about a pendulum. But the body couldn't have been passed along to the other side without your help. You should have known about it. In fact, it'd be impossible for you to be clueless about this whole thing, unless you're not really Iris to begin with. How can you say that, Mr. Wright? Okay, hold on. This went sideways. Hold on. What kind of nonsense is this? Saying this witness isn't an Iris at Hazakura Temple? Are you serious, Wright? You mean this woman is... No one besides Iris that could have received the corpse that night. Now I get it. Now I know why I've been sick to my stomach this whole trial. Why her whole demeanor changed suddenly from yesterday. Why she's trying to pin this murder on Maya. The woman that's standing there at the witness stand. Her real name is...
Take that!
I never thought I'd have to utter your name again, let alone see you. It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. Hawthorne? Sister Iris had a twin sister. You're looking at her. Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. That name rings some bells. Distant bells, but bells nonetheless. It's just your imagination, Gramps. This file contains all the relevant data about Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh yes, I remember now. That case, 5 years ago. My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I just want to say, it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence. The honor is all mine. No, the honor is all mine. But, according to this, Dahlia Hawthorne is already dead. It says her execution was carried out last month. So what? Death has no meaning in this courtroom. Yeah, dude! You should know this by now, buddy. We've had people channeling folks in this courtroom. Order, order, order. Wait a moment. How can you? My sister, she's already dead. What kind of...
Objection!
You of all people sure to understand. After all, the blood of the master of the curing channeling technique flows within that body. The curing channeling technique? Now where have I heard that? That's right, you're not Dahlia Hawthorne herself. You're the spirit of Dahlia, currently inhabiting the body of a spirit medium. What an exciting story. Exciting, but quite impossible. No. You're asking us to buy the Dahlia Hawthorne just happened to be channeled by someone on the very night of the murder to a temple where her twin sister Iris was? You're going to put that thing away. Things that...
Objection!
Yes. We're supposed to believe a coincidence like that just happens? Naturally, it was no coincidence. The whole thing was part of a plan from the very beginning. It's all written right here in these instructions. Ah, what's that? These instructions were written by your mother, Morgan Fay. Part of the plan called for Dahlia Hawthorne to be channeled. That night, there were 2 irises at Hazakura Temple. 2 of them? Even the time of the channeling was planned out. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, in other words, 10 p.m. However, Iris is seen before dinner time. That means the Iris that was at dinner was the real Iris. The Iris who gave me this hood in the main hall was also the real Iris. Meaning that the Iris Sister Bikini saw at the inner temple was someone else dressed as her, namely, one Dahlia Hawthorne. Do you even know what you're saying, Trey? This whole channeling the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne business. Yes, it's true that you found plans that talked about it. However, there's one thing that's perfectly clear. The witness currently standing in the witness stand is the real Iris. What? Calm down and remember what you know about the night of the crime. After meeting Sister Bikini, the Dahlia Hawthorne that had been channeled would have been stranded at the inner temple due to the lightning strike. It's later that the body was moved by pendulum. That's right. Naturally, that would mean that the Iris that received the body was the real Iris. You with me so far? Yes. After being notified of what happened, the police came to Hazakura Temple's main hall, where they found Iris in her room and arrested her. And ever since, she's been under police supervision, but she wasn't! She wasn't, because she got away during the earthquake! Yes, I suppose. Can't deny any of that. Yes, you can! Whew, thank goodness. Looks like he's finally convinced. Something still seems off, way off. I'm not convinced that the Iris here is the same one from the other night. Huh. Suppose you're about to say something really ridiculous? Like the real Iris and the spirit of Dahlia somehow switched places? Switched places? They did during the earthquake! To be perfectly honest, there are still quite a few things I don't understand, but I don't know. I do know that unless we confirm the witness's identity, we can't continue with this trial. Iris doesn't have the spiritual power to channel Dahlia, which means they must have switched places somewhere. Well, Mr. Wright, since the time she was arrested at Hazakura Temple, have there been any chances for Iris to switch places with Dahlia Hawthorne? Yes. Your Honor, I think there might have been one chance. Oh, explain yourself. Yesterday, for a few minutes, Iris's whereabouts were unknown. Unknown? What do you mean? What I mean is, there was a span of time in which Iris was able to move about freely, unsupervised. Well, who was it? Who would give a murder suspect the time to move about freely like that? Sorry, I know you didn't mean to. It wasn't your fault. Sorry, baby!
Take that!
This is Mr. Edgeworth, isn't it? Your Honor, there was a fairly large earthquake yesterday, was there not? An earthquake? Earthquake! Oh my goodness, the inner temple! This kind of tremor might... How could I have? She fled. She escaped. We went to the Inner Temple right away. And it's true, Iris was already there. However, they had already switched places by that point in time. When I arrived at the training hall, I was met by none other than Dahlia. That's quite enough already, Mr. Wright. Now see here. No judge in his right mind would consider the idea of spirit channeling and... Be quiet. It's been a long time, Mr. Judge. That voice. Guess I'll have to ask again. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, I always ask for her name and profession. It's one of my rules. Dahlia Hawthorne. My current profession? Permanently retired. Huh. So you're not going to bother hiding your identity anymore, huh? Why should I? After all, I'm dead. There's really nothing you can do to punish me. What is going on here? I'm asking the same thing, buddy! Dahlia Hawthorne. I never thought we'd meet again, and I never thought we'd meet like this. But this time, I'll end it. For her and for myself. Shake it out. Shake it out. We're gonna beat this. We're beating this tonight. Like, I'm ready to be done with this. Do I want chocolate or gummy? I don't know. You won't be done. You've still got Rise left. I'm doing that. I'm not gonna stream Rise. I don't wanna. I will be done with streaming this game. How about that? I will play Rise later. I will play Rise, but I'm not gonna stream Rise. Ugh. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? Well, witness? Yes. How can I help you, Mr. Judge? Well, it seems that we're to learn the truth. We'll need to hear your testimony. I have no problem with that. But when you've seen what I have, sometimes the truth is better left unknown. In any case, let's hear your testimony. Tell us about the plan that was carried out that night. I want a fruit. I want a gummy bear. The whole plan began with my death. A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. But for it to work, Maya Fay would first have to die. The idea was for me to kill Maya, then have the blame pinned on Iris. The plan went wrong, but it seemed to have succeeded anyway.
Hold it!
So that means you really are. Wait a minute. Did you say the plan was to kill Maya Fay? Yes. You have a problem with that? Don't give us nonsense. There's no way that... Watch yourself, Trite. If you've got a problem, solve it during cross-examination. That's one of my rules. Mr. Godot's correct. And by the way, that's one of my rules as well. To kill Maya. Could it be true? You were executed last month, correct? Yes, I was hanged. It wasn't exactly pleasant. How did you manage to discuss the plan? When did you talk with Morgan Fay? Last year, she was transferred to the same detention center as me. Since I was on death row and she was my mother, it's actually pretty easy to meet with her. I see. So that's when you discussed the plan? Huh. Are you crazy? First, that woman was planning to kill me as well. Even though I'm her own daughter. All to make Pearl Fay the master of curing? She's a cold, twisted woman. She thought she could finally regain her lost honor, the honor she lost when her younger sister Misty took her place as the master. Ever since that day, she's been working on this plan. A plan, huh? A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her next daughter. Next master. I read that wrong. Talking about Pearl Fay, is that correct? Yes, though at first she had high hopes for the two of us. You and your twin sister Iris? That's correct. Fortunately, neither of us had much spiritual power. So we were abandoned by her, along with our father. Abandoned? The only person I ever really cared about in life was myself. My sister was a nuisance, so I convinced my father to leave her in an old temple. You mean Iris? Yes, my father remarried a woman who also had a daughter. The less children you have, the more money there is to go around, right? Top that, my father was absolutely no interest in children in general. How horrible. The really horrible one was that woman, that bitter, vengeful woman. It's her stubbornness that gave birth to that child, Pearl Fay. She was born with an abundance of spiritual power. Unfortunately for her, Morgan Fay heaped all of her broken hopes and dreams onto that poor child's back. All because of her pathetic dreams of having her bloodline become the main family.
Hold it!
Maya would have to die, but why? For our bloodline to be seen as the main family, thus making Pearl the new master. The remaining descendants of the current master had to be taken care of. The Pearls would never agree to a plan like that. She adores Maya. How sad. You still don't get it, do you? What Pearl wanted had nothing to do with it. Morgan didn't care one bit about Pearl. The only thing she cared about was the position of the master. That's all. That's ridiculous. She was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve her goal. The life of her daughter, and naturally the life of Maya Fay as well. How could anyone do that?
Hold it!
You're going to kill Maya? Pearl didn't need to know anything about it. All she had to do was follow the instructions in the letter and channel me. Simply used her body and finished the job. In any case, I'm already dead and there's nothing any of you can do to me. So the plan was to blame the crime on your younger twin, Sister Iris at the Hazakura Temple. She and I look absolutely identical. No one can tell us apart. If someone were to witness me killing Maya, naturally they would think it was Iris that had done it. The witness in this case was the head nun, Sister Bikini. Never would have guessed she was going to return to Hazakura Temple that night. But she wound up seeing Iris's crime anyway. But why did you want to pin the murder on Iris in the first place? She's your twin sister, isn't she? Twin sister? Don't make me laugh. She's nothing but a backstabber. I couldn't care less about her. Backstabber? You just don't understand. You never will. Anyway.
Hold it!
You think the plan was a success? You heard me. Just as that woman had hoped. Maya Fay is dead. Now the title of master would pass on to Pearl.
Objection!
That's absurd. She's just trapped inside the sacred cavern. This would be a lot more successful if I didn't know Maya was in other games. Really? You're as foolishly optimistic as ever, aren't you, my darling Feeny? Do you want to know the truth? Ever since we met, I've despised you. Your sniveling naivete and your pathetic faith in other people. I just want to know one thing. What did you personally think of Morgan Fay's plan? I told you already, didn't I? It was a stupid plan. Had no point, no value other than fulfilling her own greedy desires. Yes, it was certainly nothing to be proud of. That's how you feel. Why did you help her carry it out? Why would you do it? Why would you kill Maya? You may not understand it, the kind and gentle soul that you are. You may not be able to appreciate why someone like me would help a woman like that. So then tell me, why? Isn't it obvious? I'm not like that woman. I only act in my own self-interest. The reason I helped her was for myself. My own personal satisfaction. What did you say? This woman, Dahlia Hawthorne. She had her own reasons for wanting Maya dead. Do you understand why I would kill Maya Fey now? What my goal was?
Hold it!
Obviously, it's because you were helping Morgan Fey. Helping? Don't make me laugh. From the day I was born to the day I died, I never helped anyone. Lived for myself, and in the end, I died for myself. Thought that was obvious. She wasn't actually cooperating with Morgan. She was just using Morgan in her plan so she could accomplish her own goal. All I wanted to do was kill Maya Fey. It's the only way I could think of to get revenge. Revenge? Looks like I have no choice but to present that piece of evidence. Can't believe it. She meant to kill Maya. We had to keep a cool head. I need to get more information out of her. It's the only way out to understand this plan and what she was after as well. I'm gonna present that evidence? What's that evidence? I don't know what evidence she's talking about. He said, I have to present that evidence. Let me save. I only have 2 health. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what I need to present.
Objection!
No. She wants revenge on Mia for getting her put in jail. But I don't know. I don't know.
Objection!
I would kill my female. My
Objection!
Okay, so that is what it is. Could it be that your actual goal had nothing to do with Maya Fey herself? As I said, none of you have the power to punish me anymore. Because I'm already dead. Well, I had the same problem, you see. You can't punish the dead, and you can't take revenge against them either. You want to take revenge on someone? I was sentenced to die because of that woman, Mia Fey. Somehow knew this was it. I wanted to send her a message. It was at her hands that I suffered my first humiliation. I wanted her to feel the same pain that she made me feel. Sadly, when I realized revenge was impossible, I gave up. And the reason it was impossible? Was it perhaps because Mia Fey had already died? Yes, and I realized there's only one way to take revenge against the dead. And how do you do that? Even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. I wanted to take away the person that Mia Fey loved most. I wanted to kill her with my own hands. That would be the one and only way I could take revenge against Mia Fey. That was the reason I helped with that woman's plans. Just for that? For that you would kill Maya? Your goal was no different than that of Mia Fey. As I say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. What a cruel plan. Cruel, cold, and heartless. Don't waste your time preaching to the dead. I've already told you there's not a thing you can do to me. That night, at about 9:30 p.m., I materialized into this world. Quickly pinned my hair up and put on a demon warding hood. Then I picked up the staff that was by my side and left Hazakura Temple. So it was Elise Donium who channeled her after all. Elise channeled her. That ridiculous head nun never noticed a thing. She left Maya Fey at the inner temple. Wobbled back, clutching her poor old back. What did you do then? That kid was easier to handle than I had hoped. Caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... So then you're saying you stabbed Maya? It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. What does that mean? No clear memory? I don't know. I think I was stabbed. You were stabbed? At the last minute, Maya Fey must have stabbed me, I'm sure. That's not like her at all. Maya wouldn't stab a french fry with a plastic fork. Anyway, I suddenly lost consciousness, but before I did, I scrawled her name on the lantern. Just as I was passing out, I wrote Maya behind my back. Hoped it would cast suspicion on her. I can't believe she was thinking of that until the bitter end. That's where my memory temporarily stops. It stops? I don't have any memory of actually killing Maya Fey with my own two hands. The very last memory was Maya's terror-filled eyes. When I woke up after that, I was in the sacred cavern surrounded by darkness. You were in the sacred cavern? The entrance was sealed with one of those trick locks. Somehow I'd been trapped in there. But how did you wind up in there? I'd like to know that myself. Anyway, I was worried. I didn't know whether or not Maya Fey was dead. And I swore I wouldn't return to the Underworld until I knew I had killed her myself. For a ghost, you're one tough cookie. I wanted to get out of there and make sure she was dead. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't get out. The trick lock stopped you, huh? I didn't know how to remove it. So then you're saying you were actually confined against your will inside the sacred cavern? Uh-oh. We got a reconnecting. For those of you watching on YouTube, we're going to pause for a minute and wait for the stream to reconnect. There we go. I think we're back. Let's see. Alrighty, we're back. Sorry about that. You're actually confined against your will inside the sacred cavern? Yes, I wanted to get rid of that annoying lock as soon as possible, but it wasn't easy. I kept getting interrupted while I was working on it. Interrupted? It was early in the morning, but someone came into the training hall. What? Who? Could it have been Maya? I thought the same thing, but I couldn't see. Why not? If someone had spotted me, I would have lost my chance to take revenge. So I made sure to hide myself well at the back of the sacred cavern. That morning, only 2 people could have gotten into the training hall. Maya and Pearls. Pearls went there to cover the hanging scroll and gravy. Still, I finally managed to remove the lock. But I was too late. What do you mean by that? The flies had already started to gather. The bridge had been fixed and the police had started their investigation, correct? Naturally, I couldn't go out. So instead, I returned to the cavern and put the lock back on myself. Realized I wouldn't get a chance to see Maya's corpse as I had hoped. But just then, Lady Luck showed up. Lady Luck? After that big earthquake, she showed up all by herself. The real Iris? She said she'd come to make sure the sacred cavern was alright. Stupid girl. I came out from the sacred cavern and got a feel for the situation. And I locked her away in my place. Finally learned exactly what had happened. It's then that I learned the plan had actually succeeded. What do you mean your plan had succeeded? I had misunderstood one thing, you see. That night, the one that had summoned me, I'd assumed that it was Pearl Faye. Well, of course you would have assumed that. It was written in the instructions. But I was wrong. The person that had actually called my spirit back was Misty Faye, the picture book author. What? Well, that's really the only possibility, isn't it? After I lost consciousness in the garden, it was her body that was left lying there. Maya Faye. I wasn't able to kill her with my own hands after all, but even so I made her commit the most vile sin a human can commit. And that is matricide, the sin of killing her own mother. No way. Order! Order in the court. What is the meaning of this? It's true that I was the one who attacked Maya Faye, but even so, the murderer who actually snuffed out Misty Faye's life was none other than your darling little Maya.
Objection!
Ridiculous. That's nonsense. You sure about that? Just think about it. There's even evidence supporting these facts, isn't there? What? What do you mean? What is this so-called evidence? The fact that Maya Faye has disappeared is evidence enough, isn't it? Huh? The idea that she's still in the sacred cavern is just ridiculous. She wasn't able to escape from the inner temple, that much is obvious. In that case, there's only one place she could be. Where? Do I have to spell it out? The bottom of the Eagle River. Where else? Eagle River? Maya Faye killed her long-lost mother. Can you imagine the guilt she must have felt when she realized that? That's why she threw herself into Eagle River. Most bodies that wind up in there are lost forever. So what do you have to say now, Feeny? Finish your Sylvia. I'm going to finish another order, then I'll be hitting the post office ship both at the same time. Cool! Thank you. Sorry, that's my phone. What kind of ringtone is that? It's his theme, Phoenix. Come on. Godot here. Hold on, I got something stuck under my fingernail. Okay, thanks. Was it something important? They just finished removing the locks from the sacred cavern. That's great! What about Maya? There was a woman in the cave. Was it Maya Fey? It was the accused, Sister Iris. Huh? Don't look so surprised. I locked her in there yesterday. I just finished telling you that. So what about Maya? Where is she? There was no one else found inside the sacred cavern. You're still being on this extra special. I accidentally brought plastic canvas with glitter in it and made yours with that stuff. That's awesome. I love glitter. No, it can't be. Maya's right here, you guys. I'm telling you. Maya's got... The only person who could be channeling Dahlia right now is Maya. I told you, didn't I? She's dead. No. No! It seems this case has come to an end. A tragic end. Sadly, it appears the killer of Elistonium, also known as Misty Fey, was her own daughter, Maya Fey. What the fuck is happening? Overcome with guilt with what she had done, Maya Fey jumped to her death in the raging waters of the Eagle River. It can't be. Huh. Godot, please point out the obvious! Right. Have you ever heard this one? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. No matter how improbable it may seem. What is that supposed to mean, Prosecutor Godot? According to this witness, Maya Fey threw herself in the Eagle River. However, is that really the truth? Remember, this woman testified earlier. The bridge was already on fire when the murder was taking place in the garden. It means if Maya had thrown herself into the river, it must have been from the inner temple side, near the bridge. That's right. That's where she jumped from. But that's impossible. It's impossible to jump into the river from there. What? Don't get your panties all twisted up, Wright. Just relax and think through this whole thing again. So it's impossible? Maya couldn't have thrown herself in the Eagle River? You guys are also forgetting! She is Maya right now! Like, Maya is her right now. There's no other way. Like, it just doesn't make sense. She woke up in the sacred cavern. The only person who was in the sacred cavern was Maya. Like, she's either Maya or Pearl right now. And I don't think she's Pearl, because we've seen Pearl. I'm pretty sure we've seen Pearl since yesterday. I don't remember. But, like, she's Maya right now. Well, Mr. Wright? Hawthorne then claims Miss Fey threw herself into the river from the inner temple side. Do you have any evidence that refutes this claim? Yeah! The map!
Take that!
It's impossible to jump in the Eagle River from the inner temple side. No one knows that better than this witness. What did you say? 11 years ago, you jumped into the very same river. Just take a look at this overhead map. As you can see, below the cliff on the inner temple side is a big rock shelf. Oh! You're right! She wouldn't have reached the river if she had jumped off from there. In other words, if she had jumped, we would have been able to see her body in this photo. I'm gonna save real quick. So you finally figured it out. You... No! Order. You're just playing with me. Maya Fey's body's at the bottom of the Eagle River. There's nowhere else she could possibly be hiding. Miss Hawthorne, have you heard this one before? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Yes, just a few minutes ago. Maya Fey was inside the sacred cavern. We know that she didn't throw herself into the Eagle River. Correct. That eliminates all the most likely possibilities. Although it seems improbable, there's still one other place she could be. What? Please, come on. What is this one possibility you're talking about? That's obviously a bluff. So where's her dead body then? Finally, I think the pieces are falling into place. She's right here, right? Normally the living have no way to punish the dead. But I think there's a way to give Dahlia Hawthorne the ultimate punishment. Shall I tell you, Miss Hawthorne? Shall I tell you where Maya is right this very instant? In this very fucking courtroom! There's only one possibility left. Namely, she's right here in this very courtroom. What? Maya Fey is here? You say she's here in my courtroom? Dahlia Hawthorne. I seem to recall that you said misunderstood one thing, you see. So what? But I think there's one more thing you misunderstood. What do you mean? Tell me something. At this very moment, who is channeling Dahlia Hawthorne? Why, that's obvious. It's Pearl Fey, that pathetic little sniveling runt. You're wrong. Pearl's tried, but she couldn't do it. I've never failed at channeling someone. This is the first time it's happened. Is there any explanation for why you couldn't channel a spirit? Could happen if someone else was already channeling the same spirit. Someone called me before Pearl did, but who? Pearl's even tried again on the day after the crime, but she couldn't do that. Do it. What could that mean? I think the truth is coming clearer to you right about now. Am I correct? Ah. Wasn't Pearls that channeled you. Someone else who called you before she could.
Take that!
This is an easy one. Pearls couldn't do it. Misty Fey is gone. There's only one possibility left. Come on already! I can't stand the tension. Dahlia Hawthorne. The person channeling you right now must be Maya Fey. What? But how could that be? Remember what this witness Dahlia Hawthorne said about her goal. She said that her goal was to kill Maya Fey. Yes, that's right. But if Maya channeled the spirit of someone that was trying to kill her... Huh. Well, Gramps, what would happen? Could it be? Looks like you finally understand, Your Honor. Well, I don't! What are you going on about? What I'm going on about is the reason Maya channeled you. There's only one reason. To protect herself from you. To protect herself? From me? Yes, on the night of the crime, you were the only interested in one thing. Killing Maya Fey. The path back to Hazakura was closed off and there was nowhere for her to run. The problem became, where would be the safest place to hide? Ah! You mean, that's when she channeled me? All this time you thought you had been channeled by Pearls, so it never occurred to you that Maya's hiding place was you. No. No. Don't say that! I figured it out like 10 minutes ago. Well, no, I've been wondering. I've been sitting here, I was like, it had to be, like, I was figuring it out. I was like, it has to be Maya that's her right now, but why is Maya her? I didn't figure out that Elise had channeled her earlier. That threw me for a loop. I was like, Maya's channeling her, but I don't know why. You're saying that I, Dahlia Hawthorne, was played for a fool by that little whelp? Maya Fey killed herself. Isn't it obvious? Sorry, but no. It would have been impossible for her to jump into Eagle River. This was the only avenue of escape open to Maya. The only way that Maya could disappear from the inner temple. I don't believe you. A stupid little girl like that who's never been out in the real world. She could never have come up with a plan like that. Who could have ever given her such a brilliant idea? Well, me, of course. It's my girl! I didn't even know Pearls was here! Mia Fey! It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. So it's true. It was you. Yes. Huh. You're something else. But what are you doing here? That hair. It's pearls, right? Tell me something, Dahlia. I want you to think back to that night one more time. You had just cornered Maya in the Inner Temple's garden. And then, in the final moments of the fight, you lost consciousness. I was stabbed by Maya Fey. Actually, Maya lost consciousness at the same time as you. She did? Not terribly surprising since she was about to be killed. When she woke up, she was in the training hall. That's when Maya decided she needed help. So she channeled me. She explained in a memo the situation she was in. She asked me what I thought she should do. This is getting wild. She did that? I can't believe it. Of course, I didn't have all the details. But one thing was perfectly clear. And that was, I knew that you couldn't be allowed to wander free. Free? What do you mean? It was a race against time, so I wrote down 2 things that Maya had to do. Channel Dahlia Hawthorne as soon as possible, and lock herself in the sacred cavern until help arrived. So it was Maya who put that lock on there. Yes, but why did you order her to do those 2 things? If she hadn't done it, Dahlia Hawthorne would have been channeled by someone else. By one Pearl Fey. Pearls? Yes, Pearl couldn't properly understand the plan, so all she was trying to do was follow her mother, Morgan Fey's instructions. If she succeeded in channeling Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit, things would have turned out very badly, to put it mildly. So that's how it was. Dahlia Hawthorne would have used the body of Pearl Fey to kill Maya at all costs. Yes, it certainly sounds like that was the intent all along. How dare you! I won't forget this. Why not just admit it, Dahlia Hawthorne? Your little plan was nothing but a big failure. Yes, another failure to add to the pile of shame, wouldn't you say? What do you mean by another? Think about it, Dahlia. Remember all your past crimes? Not a single one of them was a success. They all ended in failure. What? How dare you? 11 years ago. The fake kidnapping, your very first crime. You got your hands on a $2 million diamond, but... After Terry Falls escaped and went to meet with Valerie Hawthorne, the truth was exposed. Shut your mouth! That wasn't my fault! It's because of that stupid oaf of a prisoner and that weakling of a policewoman. And then 1 year later, you tried to kill me. Well, I'm still alive, but... You wound up killing someone else. As a result, you were sentenced to death. It's one stupid move after another for you, but it's no longer funny. You, wipe that smug, happy-go-lucky smile off your face. And now this. You've messed up again. You let Maya Fey escape. You even thought she was right there in front of you. Mia Fey. Mia Fey! Mia Fey! Mia Fey! You spinster. I was supposed to kill Maya Fey like I swore I would. If only you'd gotten this spiky-haired jerk the guilty verdict. I wouldn't have been hanged to death. True. But I think you finally understand, Dahlia Hawthorne. You will never defeat me. What? What did you say? Whether you're alive, dead, or somewhere in between, you'll never defeat me. As long as I'm around, you're destined to lose for all of eternity. Remember what you said earlier in the trial. You said there was no way we could punish you, because you are already dead. What about it? Then you said, you want the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. It's very true, Dahlia. That's exactly the punishment you'll never be able to escape from. For all of eternity, you'll have to remain Miss Dahlia Hawthorne, a miserable, pathetic, weak creature who can never win at anything. And for you, there's no escape from that, no hope of freedom. Since the day you were executed, the narrow bridge that once stretched out in front of you has burnt to a crisp. Mia is fucking... wow! She's mean. You... oh... you're... wrong. It... can't be. How could I lose to the likes of you? It no longer matters. I don't care whether you win or lose anymore. The only thing I want is for you to come out of Maya's body right now. I'm not gonna read all that screaming. Holy shit! I'm not ready! Not ready to go! Holy shit. Nick, sis. This is fucking crazy! Now then, I assume you are the real Iris? Yes, I was just rescued from the sacred cavern. I must say, you and your twin are indeed identical from what I can see. In any case, it appears that everything has finally been cleared up. Mr. Godot, what happened to Dahlia Hawthorne? You ask me, Your Honor. Looks like she went back to the hell she came from. Seems that Misty Faye isn't the only victim of this crime. Maya Faye, as well as the young Pearl Faye, are also victims of this wicked and selfish plan. Yes, Your Honor. The tragedy of Medium Valley has finally come to an end. Just skipping real quick. This is fucking wild. It would be best for everyone if no further attempt was made to channel that spirit again. Your Honor? Yes, what is it? About this whole spirit medium thing. It's almost weird how comfortable you seem with the concept now. Well, to be frank, my younger brother is quite judgmental. He often criticizes me for not studying hard enough. So I made a concerted effort to study up on the curing channeling technique. Isn't that the New Year's issue of Occult? I've seen quite a few things in my many years on the bench. And all that time, I finally learned this one thing. Each case is different. It takes place in its own world, if you will. Yeah, for real! In order to fully understand that world, first we have to immerse ourselves in it completely. And that's where my brother and I used to differ. Never thought of it that way. At any rate, it's time to pass judgment in the case of Iris of Hazakura Temple.
Objection!
You're a little too fast with that gavel, Your Honor. What do you mean by that, Mr. Godot? This trial, it isn't over yet. That's what he means. What? Right. Remember what Miss Evil Spirit said in her testimony? Huh? Dahlia's testimony? I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and I... Strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. I think I was stabbed. Just as Dahlia Hawthorne was about to attack Maya, she was stabbed and killed by someone. Yes, that's right. The person that was ultimately killed was the spirit medium that channeled Dahlia. Leastonium. No, Misty Faye. But who killed her? We still don't know who did it. This isn't over? Can my bar be refilled, somebody? I only have 2 health. Unless someone else is found guilty, the accused is still on trial. We can't let her walk until there's evidence that proves her innocence. No way. But this court isn't prepared for any further testimony. Prosecution is ready to call our final witness. Final witness? This one will clear up the whole mystery. Mystery of who killed Misty Faye. Indeed. Is it really alright, Mr. Prosecutor? Of course it's alright, Madame Attorney. Very well then. Who is this final witness? Ah, isn't it obvious? One person who saw the whole event and will put the final dagger in the case. Someone who saw the murder take place? The very person who saw her mother killed in front of her own eyes. You mean Maya? You can't. She can't testify after what she's just been through. We need to find the truth. Prosecution calls Maya Faye to the witness stand. Very well. But first, we'll take a brief recess. We'll have to wait for Miss Faye to recover before summoning her. Once we receive the doctor's permission, we'll proceed with the trial. Hey, Wright. Got something to say to you, so listen up. What is it? I don't think much of you as a lawyer. It's always the same with you. Somehow manage to just squeak by without even a faint understanding of the case. Honestly? Seriously, that's me. I'll just be like, I don't know. Present. Oh, that worked. And I won't figure out the case until they spell it out for me. I'll be like, what the fuck just happened? I knew Maya had summoned, Dahlia, but I just didn't know all the events leading up to that and everything else. But yeah, I definitely just squeak by without understanding the case. Some beautiful woman always seems to come dashing in at the last minute to save you. You've got some nerve. That's not going to happen this time. This time, you're going to have to do this by yourself. That's enough. This court is now in recess. Alright. I'm truly sorry about everything. You were working so hard to defend me, but I was missing all day and we didn't even have a chance to talk. She's right. When I met Iris at the training hall yesterday, they had already switched places, and Iris is inside the sacred cavern. I wanted to at least be in the defendant's box today to root you on. Well, it wasn't your fault. You were locked up this whole time. There's something more important than that, though. I have to ask you, why did you help your sister out as much as you did? Huh? If you had tried to get help at the sacred cavern yesterday, you wouldn't have spent an entire day locked up in there. My sister. I felt sorry for her. She was abandoned by her mother and never got any love from our father either. Yes, but it was the same for you too, wasn't it? Yes, but at least I had Sister Bikini, who was like a mother to me. Only Dahlia had come with me to Hazakura Temple. I always loved her. Dahlia was always so smart, so strong. She never complained about a thing. That's why I promised her that I would help her. Are you talking about the fake kidnapping case 11 years ago? Yes. I wanted to be useful to her in some way. But, as usual, I was too cowardly. At the last minute, I ran away. Because of that, Dahlia's stepsister Valerie ended up. That was the case that wounded Mia so badly. But things didn't end there, of course. Some people suspected that my sister was involved in the murder. Some people? You must mean... Yes, 2 defense attorneys. Mia Faye and Diego Armando. After poisoning Mr. Armando, who's getting too close to learning the truth. Dahlia even tried to kill the person who had unknowingly hid the poison for her. You. That's right. Iris. There's one more thing that I have to ask you. Yes, what is it? The night of the murder. The person that cleaned up the corpse of the victim, Leistonium. Was it really you? Yes, it was me. That night after I rang the lights out bell, I went back to my room. At around 10:30, I received a call on my cell phone. There's a problem. Come to the inner temple right away. I got on the snowmobile and headed for the inner temple, but the path to the inner temple was cut off, right? Exactly. We can't just leave the body here. So you've got to do this exactly as I say, got it? It was me. I was the one that received her body. The murder weapon had been left in her body so she wouldn't bleed too much. The staff that Mystic Elise always held. I knew it. The actual murder weapon was the staff. Yes, that's right. Brought the body back to Hazakura Temple on the snowmobile. But why? Why did you alter the body? I didn't want anyone to know that the staff was the murder weapon. I didn't want to leave anything that would lead back to Misty Faye. So I dressed her up in a robe and stabbed her with a shito. I wiped the blood off the staff's blade and left it next to her on the ground. Iris, just tell me one last thing. Tell me the name of the person that called your cell phone, the real killer. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I can't do it. I can't say who did it. I see. Defendant! Yes? Judge is calling you. He wants to see you in his chambers. He has some questions about Dahlia Hawthorne. Alright. Well then, I'll see you later. Something I want to tell you. Oh, okay. Something she wants to tell me? So it's true. I was cooperated with the real killer. Maybe even from the very beginning. Phoenix. I can't do it. Mia, how's Maya doing? Physically, I'm not worried. She'll recover completely. But emotionally, she's been hurt very badly by this case. I see. You don't mean she's learned who Leistonium really was? Yes, I went to the medical office and talked with her. Told her everything I knew. But why? Maya is stronger than you think. I knew she could take it. All of it. What do you mean by that? I want you to figure out that answer by yourself. Trial's about to restart. The real killer. Do you know who it is yet? Iris wouldn't tell me who called her, but still. I think that just maybe. I know who it was. I don't! That night, the victim was killed in the garden of the inner temple. And the criminal wasn't just there by accident. Which means that the killer knew of Dahlia's plan from the very beginning. That leaves no... And one more thing. The victim was moved to Hazakura Temple side by pendulum. In other words, the criminal couldn't cross the bridge. It means they were stuck in the inner temple side for almost an entire day. Exactly, so the culprit was someone that wasn't in Hazakura Temple on the following day. That's as much help as I can give you. The rest of the battle is yours to win, or lose. Yeah, but I don't remember who was in the temple the next day! I don't have anything that helps me out with that, do I? Who was in the temple the next day? Who did we talk to the day after the murder? I don't remember. Did you get your Sailor Moon shirt from Target? I did. I got it yesterday. I shouldn't have taken a break. I should have just streamed this game from beginning to end. This is my own fault. I think we have the same shirt then. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's this one. Who wasn't there besides Maya? Because Maya was locked up. Who else wasn't there? I don't know. I don't remember. Yep, I have that shirt as well. Absolutely love it. Yeah, I fell in love with it yesterday. I was like, I have to get it. There was a different Sailor Moon shirt there too that I was looking at, but it was a white shirt, and I don't like white. I don't buy white clothes, so I didn't get it. Hey, I got a big people job now. Oh, big people job. What's up, Mandalore? What's your big people job? I'm trying to remember who we didn't see at the temple the next day. I don't like wearing white shirts either. They get dirty too easily. I stain everything white I own. Like a salary job. Where do you get a salary job at, bro? Hold on, I'm gonna open this candy real quick. I'm trying to think. I'm gonna jump back into this, and I know I'll figure it out as we go. But I want to try and figure it out beforehand. I want to see if I can remember who wasn't at the temple. Okay, I've got it. Thank you, Mia. I'm keeping my mouth shut, obviously, but I think I remember who did it. I'm trying to remember who we didn't see. I need to stop eating candy. Finally, almost time to bring this case to an end. What exactly did Maya see anyway? Who was it that actually killed Misty Faye? Whoever it was, I have to prove it. Me, all by myself. Campaign manager for State House candidate. Today was my first day. That's awesome. Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the test we had performed earlier. Test? Yes, on the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree. Oh yeah, that. Totally forgot about it. That's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought with the victim. So what are the results? Was it the victim's blood, or due to time constraints, a full test was impossible. However, there's one thing we can say with certainty. Blood that was on this dagger was not the victim's blood. That is all. Now then, let's restart this trial. So it wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger. And whose was it? It was Maya's. Sure, both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claims. I understand, Your Honor. Yeah, I'm gonna save again. I'm just gonna save a whole lot. From what I heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking. So let's finish this quickly. Agreed. Very well, please bring in the last witness. I want to hug her! Witness, please tell us your name and profession. Maya Fey. My profession is, the assistant manager at the Wright & Co. law offices. Maya. According to the magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium with the Korean channeling technique. I'm frightened. The Fae clan. I don't want any more to do with it. Oh, Maya. The pain the Fae bloodline has causes must be unbearable. Very well. Now then, Miss Fae. When the event occurred, you were in the garden at the Inner Temple. And you witnessed the moment of Elise Stonium's murder. Is this correct? I didn't see any. Straighten up this instant, young lady. Huh? Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later. But Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you can do to change that fact. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. Been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witnesses come out, and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen? Witness, if you please. Yes. Yes, Your Honor. I wanna hug her so bad. I was passing through the garden on the way to the spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against a stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me." Something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness. So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been with this staff. Maya, the person who hit you, it was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I don't know who it was. Maya, think hard. Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't. Can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone. Seems it'll be hard to determine the criminal through testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright, please begin your cross-examination. Maya, hang in there. She doesn't look well at all. I just want to hug her. She shouldn't be here. She should be in bed.
Hold it!
Who else was in the inner temple side that night? Well, Sister Bikini, of course. But I remember her saying that Iris would be coming over later as well. The day of the incident, Edgeworth met Bikini at House Temple. I mean, she couldn't be the criminal. So then, did Iris actually come later like she said? Well, let me think. She seems confused. It's probably because she's so tired. No, I'm sure I didn't see her. She must have come while I was preparing for the training.
Hold it!
Alright, who made our queen sad? Our queen has just been channeling... Oh, y'all have to watch this stream later. Our queen is very sad and very weak because she's been channeling a shitty person's spirit for like 2 days. Who did it? Who hit you? Well... I didn't see who it was. I was hit from behind. You didn't see the person? But after that, your attacker was in front of you. How could you not see who it was? Oh! Let me think for a sec. I'm sorry, I just can't remember. Maya's really having a hard time. What should I do? I'm sorry, Maya. Come on, Maya. This isn't making sense. Why didn't you see this person? Well, let me think. It was, Oh yeah, that's right. It was dark, that's it. It was dark? It's not good to have too much light around when someone is undergoing spiritual training. Come to think of it, there was an earlier testimony to that effect as well. It was dark in the garden on the night of the crime, which is why she didn't see her attacker. I thought maybe she was trying to hide something, but I guess not. Judging by the testimony thus far, the identity of the attacker was most likely the spirit that was channeled by Leastonium, Dahlia Hawthorne. Very well, please continue with your testimony. What happened after you struck on the head? I stumbled and ended up against the stone. What happened afterwards? My attacker was in front of me, blocking off my escape. I think. You think? After getting hit like that, I was in a state of panic. There were only 2 things rolling around in my mind at the time. Well now, this is beginning to get interesting. So what were the 2 things rolling around in your mind? My name is Maya Fey. 1 + 1 = 2. You see, for some crazy reason, I was afraid I was going to lose my memory. I know it's odd considering my life was in danger, but that's how it was. It's not odd at all. Your actions are understandable given the circumstances. So what did you do then? I think I screamed, "Help me." You think you screamed, but you're not sure? Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man, a woman, an adult, a child? I had no idea. I was scared out of my wits. Believe me, my dear, I'm certain I would have soiled my robes. I thought this person might attack me, so I... Anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought it was my last hope. Well, it sounds like poor little Maya really was out of her mind. I wonder what she meant by my last hope. What do? Do I press her for more details? you're certain that you screamed, "Help me"? I think so. Now that I think about it, yeah, it's gotta be what I screamed. Is it all strange, right, to ever screamed, "Help me"? No, but something about that bugs me. Why would you face someone that's trying to kill you? Go through the trouble of screaming for help. Alright then, witness. Go on with your testimony. Oh, okay.
Hold it!
Press this again. My last hope. Wait a minute, Maya. What is this my last hope stuff? What? What do you mean, your last hope? No. That's what you just said. You said my last hope. Huh? What? I said what? Look, you were facing an attacker and you couldn't see and you screamed, right? You screamed, "Help me." Yeah. But you testified that you screamed that because you thought it was your last hope. Oh, well, you know, that's like, what do you do? What do you call it when that happens? Maya's not doing so well up there. Maya being sus. Oh yeah, that's right. Remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at. What did you just say? Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming to for help. Ah! What is it now? I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out. Huh? Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person? I am. Well, I meant to keep that part a secret. What have I done? Takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say. Ton of pressure. You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber. Witness, the information you just presented is vital to the case. I wanted to add it to your testimony. I see a man behind my attacker with the light of the stone lantern.
Hold it!
Hey. A man? Who was this man? Well, you see... Couldn't see. You couldn't see? She's used this excuse twice now. Well, you know, lantern light isn't very bright. Lantern light, you say? It's a great big stone lantern in the garden. They always light it when an acolyte is there for training. Hey! You know what they say, under the lantern, the darkness reigns. So I could see the person that was further away, but not my attacker, who was closer. Plus, there weren't any other light sources in the garden at the time.
Hold it!
You don't mean, was it... I didn't know it at the time, but... I think it was probably blood. She's saying that when Stonium, who was channeling Dahlia, was stabbed by the back of the killer? That moment I was paralyzed with fear. I was just sitting there in the snow. I'm sure blood got on everything around me. That's when I lost consciousness. Okay, I need to press something. So what happened next? I don't remember. How were you saved? You don't even remember that? No, I haven't got any idea. I really don't know what happened at all. That's too bad. I worked side by side with Maya for 2 years now. I can tell when she's trying to hide something by how she acts. And right now, I'm absolutely certain she's hiding something. The lantern wasn't lit that night.
Objection!
So there's a man standing behind your attacker? Yeah. That man, he's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise Stonium, otherwise known as Misty Faye, your mother. The killer? Maya, you know who killed your mother, don't you? What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? To be frank, Your Honor, I think she's in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed the huge problem with her testimony. Huh? What do you mean? What problem? Maya, on the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission. Huh? What? It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night. No! Order in the court. Mr. Godot, explain this. Add the pureness of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee. Stir. That's the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of cafe au lait. cafe au lait? Is that even legal? Mr. Trite's words are the milk and you are the spoon. Your Honor. I'm a spoon? I'm no spoony Bart, I'll have you know. Must have noticed it too, Trite. This witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that. Sorry, but that's not going to cut it. What did you say? There truly was no light in the garden. Then there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony. My dumbass thought it was cafe au lait. It's French, honey. You don't pronounce the T. Café au lait. Café au lait. We don't pronounce consonants. We just don't. You don't pronounce half the letters in a word. Have you? French is dumb, bitch. I know. I'm French. French is real dumb. Have you seen how bird is spelled in French? I want you to look up. Hold up. I gotta make sure I spell it right. I want you to guess how this word is pronounced. If you said oiseau, you're right. If you said anything else, you're wrong. That word is pronounced oiseau. French is dumb. And I hope my mom's not on here. Yeah, the plural is even funnier. Oiseau. It's pronounced exactly the same. Oiseau. I took French for 3 years. I don't remember a damn thing from it though. So baby, you're 200 and late. Did you mean 2000 and late? I'm French. I can make fun of French all the time. I make fun of the word oiseau all the time. That's my favorite word to like look at. Be like, this is pronounced stupid. Imagine if oxalotl. Also, I just befriend all the gay French. What about tree? Arbre? 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 I hate that word. I make fun of Polish people all the time, and I'm Polish. Mood. Alright. Let's finish this damn case. Nick. May I? Call the witness's statement about her attacker. She said she didn't know if it was a man, woman, adult, or child. And yet, the witness could describe the person that was standing behind her attacker. We interrupt this game with French slander. Yes. I'm at skis because I can't spell thing that's like a sled. The witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker. She quite clearly described him as a man. Ah. In other words, that would have to mean Maya actually saw our mystery person. Despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of her own attacker. Order, order, order. What in the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Miss Faye saw the real killer under the pitch black conditions?
Objection!
Right. Do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source.
Objection!
There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Maya, did you see who the killer... You did see who the killer was in the dark. And now, you're trying to cover for him. Cover? For the man that killed her mother? There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is. Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you. Ha! You talk a good game, Trite, but let's see if you can walk the walk. It's pitch black, so what could the witness see? Calling your bluff. No, Nick, don't. Please, stop. Maya's dead set on protecting this guy, the man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. We can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth. Shit. Alright, Mr. Wright, time to show us what you've got. Who's this person that you say Miss Faye saw in the darkness? There's only a couple of men on here. And And I think I just figured it out. She saw something in the dark. Who's the only person that has something that glows? His goggles glow. It's gotta be, right? That's my only guess. Unless Larry had something glow in the dark. Which I don't think he did. I don't think that was ever set up. Yeah, it's Gumshoe. Oh yeah, she saw Gumshoe, sure.
Take that!
Because it was pitch black, Miss Fay was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see itself for how this is possible, yes? What? But how do you propose to show something like that? It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night. Conditions? Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off. But it can't be. Huh. That was a nice bit of deduction. That's right. I did not see this one coming! Well, everyone, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder. I didn't think about him being gone. He didn't want to, he didn't do the case that one day. Said because it wasn't Phoenix, but it was because he was stuck. Because whoever it was stuck on the other side for a whole day. And that was when we played as Edgeworth against Franziska. It wasn't Godot. Order, order, order. Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it? Ah, Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person. What do you mean by that? If you've got a question, ask the witness. Playing as Edgeworth was amazing. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights? Well, witness, answer the question. You're wrong. I never saw that. Maya! I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man for a totally different reason. What?
Objection!
Stop your chattering, Your Honor. Chattering? It's worth asking. Ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Alright. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man. Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize until after I woke up, but... Okay, now I'm really confused. I'm so confused, guys! When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. Torches were lit and the body was gone. All the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up, too. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man. So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think the killer was a man. Yes, that's right. Well, Maya, sexist much? Sorry, Your Honor, no need to apologize. As Mr. Godot said, you're utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the culprit was a man. Maya is sexist. Maya is sexist. Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. I'm so confused, y'all. Every second I think I figure something out. I don't. So you lost consciousness when you were in the garden, is that right? Yes, I think. I think it happened when the victim was stabbed. And the person that carried you into the inner temple could only have been the killer. That's what I think too. So the killer carried Maya to the inner temple. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? Must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. I don't know. Looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I think I need to gather some more information before I ask her again.
Hold it!
Torches were lit? Yes, that's how I noticed the whole scene had changed. When I say it was the killer who lit the torches, I mean, who else could it be? The killer probably lit them since it's impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there's one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go through the effort of moving the body? It's true, it would be hard to see how that would be of any advantage to the killer. The only one who would gain anything from that would be a person that was at the inner temple, Maya. Very well, let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene.
Hold it!
So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? It did look really odd. Snow was removed in an unnaturally looking rectangle shape around the lantern. There are a lot of shovels around the inner temple. They're all really heavy, way too heavy for me to use. An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away? There's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say it had a lot of the victim's blood sprayed onto the snow? Yeah, the area had collapsed and ended up being splattered. In other words, the killer was purposely trying to hide the bloody snow. Get rid of distinctive footprints? That too. I think that's the most reasonable explanation. Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. The killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it. There was no need to remove that amount. It's true. He could have scooped up just the snow that was stained with blood. Looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue. But I think this will help explain them.
Hold it!
So you're saying you never saw the killer, right? Yes. But earlier you very clearly stated that you saw a man behind your attacker. Nick, I'm sorry. The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble. Moving the body by pendulum, manipulating the crime scene. But for what purpose? Why do all of that? Maybe Maya knows more than she's letting on. Torches were lit? Yes. Let's see.
Objection!
Trying to see, because why clean everything up if not to clean up the lantern?
Objection!
No, I'm clearly missing it. Why do all of that? Maybe Maya knows more than she's letting on. not the murder weapon, that's the actual murder weapon. Body fell. Tracks. Courtyard. I bet you that's Maya's blood on that. Let me just use the Magatama. See if she's lying. I don't know. I might need a hint. At least for what statement? I just can't remember. I just can't figure this out. King 2, by the time I got back to my own place had changed. Audio was gone. All the snow had been cleaned up.
Objection!
Okay. I don't know. I want to figure this out. I forgot to tell you, got all 3 of the Animal Crossing Build-A-Bears, and they're all amazing. That's awesome. I didn't know there were 3. I knew of Tom Nook and Isabel. Is the other one KK? Okay, here's the other one. He comes with his guitar. Aww. I don't know. I'm not very smart, guys. Does it have something to do with the weather? Person.
Objection!
I don't know. I'm just trying different things. I don't know. Zeffy, I need a hint. I don't know how I would have beaten these games without any help. I'm not very good at this. Maya's sexist, I can say that. But I can't figure out what. Whoever it was stuck on that side of the temple for a day. So Maya wasn't actually alone there. They were stuck on the other side of the temple with her. Go through the testimony for me. When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. Torches were lit and the body was gone. All the snow of the lantern around the lantern had been cleaned up too. As a person did all of this work alone, I assumed it was a man. No candy. I've had enough, Tara. One more time. When I came to, I was lying there in the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. Torches were lit and the body was gone. All the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Since the person did all that work alone, I assumed it was a man. This is dumb. You have to press something twice. Really? Okay, well, then I'll just press everything again.
Hold it!
So you lost consciousness when you're in the garden, is that right? Yes, I think it happened when the victim was stabbed. The person that carried you into the inner temple could only have been the killer. So I think too. So the killer carried Maya into the inner temple. Hold it! The garden, the place has totally changed. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? It must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. I guess that was it. I figured it out. I was supposed to press 1. The truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something. You did? Yes. I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me. For my sake. What? Hiding it for you? Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden. She may have thought that you had done it. No, she definitely would have thought so. And you're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened? Yes, I'm sure of it. Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. I think it was for my sake that the killer cleaned up evidence of what had happened. Okay. Now I know what to present. Why leave
Objection!
this? Because I was like, I know I have to talk about this fucking torch. I just didn't know where. The body of Elise Dunyan was carried all the way to the Hazakura Temple's courtyard. Then at the garden, the real scene of the crime, the snow that we suspect was covered in blood, was scooped up and removed. It's reason to believe this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one matter that seems somewhat odd. Oh, and what would that be? You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. Ah. If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't they wipe away the writing off the lantern? Oh, you're right. Order, order, order. But, Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that the killer is trying to cover up the crime scene? Indeed, but it doesn't make much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow, then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing.
Objection!
But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move all the body and remove all that snow, but then leave the bloody writing on the lantern? I don't know what the killer's plan was, but it's a fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. Must be a reason for it. Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. The killer wrote it to pin the crime on the killer didn't notice it. Got another inkling. But I don't know if I'm right. Prosecutor Godot, earlier in this trial, you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. You said inkling. Moomy. The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime had occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. For it must mean they didn't notice it. But that doesn't make any sense. Torches were all lit and everything. I think to pin the crime, they wanted to get rid of evidence that pointed elsewhere. Now, I've got a different theory, but I'm not going to say anything in case I'm wrong. There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that. You're right. There's no way any normal person would. What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether. Who would that be? Who's the person that could have failed to notice the bloody writing? I didn't get the chance to save. Whose visor is red, y'all? Who sees through red lenses? I'm still, like, it's gotta be Godot. He didn't deny it earlier. And he's the one who sees through red lenses. He wouldn't have noticed the red on the white. I put that together as soon as it was like the killer didn't notice it. I was like, yeah, that's it. That's the choice. He didn't see it because of the red. I've been trying to figure out who else it could be, but like, you see everything in rose-tinted glasses. Red flags are just flags. Exactly.
Take that!
Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot? This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented. This lantern? There's something written on it. Why, it's written in blood. Nonsense. This lantern is as clean as a whistle. Mr. Godot, just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once before, during the poisoning case at Tribulations. Did he not notice the blood on that one? Delightful. This is the apron Delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time. Somehow spilled coffee on it. I forgot about that one. Something's still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood color stain that's smeared all over the apron. It's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a blood stain. He doesn't see Phoenix's tie. You're right. Well, yeah. You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup because it was red. It's strange. A black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. Holy shit, how can you have a prosecutor that has a hard time seeing blood? I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see him? So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? You admitting that you can't see the red writing on the lantern? He also failed to see that Shit! That goes deep, you're right! Are you admitting that you can't see the red writing on the lantern? Hey, Gramps. Didn't you know? It's the reason I don't drink red tea. He did fail to see that the man responsible for Mia's death was red-white. He blames Phoenix instead. I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer. But there's no going back now. I finally figured out the truth. Mr. Godot, the defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Miss Elise Donium, also known as Miss Misty Fey. It's hard to believe this may be true, however, once again, Mr. Wright, you've brought up a disquieting fact about you. Huh. Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps. Come on, how does a little graffiti make me into the killer? Besides, it's not like my name that's written there. I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red. This is rich. Do go on, Troy. Answer is right there in the crime scene. In the snow. The snow? How so? Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? Your Honor, you said it yourself. If he wanted to hide the blood snow, why not just take that area? Yes, why didn't he just take that area? What kind of court proceedings are these where you just accuse random people during court? We have to have a killer. That's how this works. You have to have a killer. Someone can't get off unless there's a killer. It's just kind of how it is. Why didn't he just take that area? Ah, could it be? Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow. And so he had to remove all of the snow. He couldn't be sure of where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area. Sup, Swole? You missed me, just so you know.
Objection!
Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark? Not a chance. The torches were all lit. He would have been able to see just fine. It seems that once again this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot? Wait just a minute. Maya? What is it, witness? Mr. Godot isn't the killer. After all, he didn't even come to the inner temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until that old bridge got fixed
Objection!
up. Maya. You can't testify to something like that. Why? What do you mean? I may not look it, but... Eek! After the murder happened, you didn't even exist. She didn't? I'm afraid I don't follow. You senile old man, we established this just a little while ago. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, that's right. Please, Your Honor, let me add to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me. Maya, do you plan to cover for good, no matter the cost? That's the case, and I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence her. Ah, nicely done, Wright. Very well, let's hear the witness's testimony. Please tell us what happened at the inner temple after the murder. They have a procedure for questioning psychics? Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling, and my spirit left me, as it were. But little Pearlie was there at the inner temple, too. Pearlie was also stuck on the inner temple side that night. The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. So Mr. Godot arrived at the inner temple for the first time, found Pearlie first, and cheered her right up. Who's this Pearlie? That's my little cousin, Pearl Fay. So when did you hear about this? Oh, just a while ago, when I was in the medical office. Terribly sorry, but what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. What? Come on! Pearlie would never tell a lie. She's way more honest person than I'll ever be. Real smart, Maya. You always know the best things to say when you're under oath. Huh. Prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness. Mr. Godot? Let's just move on to the cross-examination, if the defense has no objections. It's highly unusual, but, well, Mr. Wright, let's get this cross-examination started. So, where do you think Pearl slept that night? If Godot is if Godot is a suspect, wouldn't this all be mistrial? He's not officially a suspect, so I guess not. Where do you think Pearl slept that night? In the spare room next to the training hall, I guess. It's a rule that you can't enter the training hall during an acolyte's training. But even so, why did she go to the inner temple in the first place? It seems that Pearls became very worried about my... Sorry, I just need to sit more comfortably. She knows the spiritual training I was about to undergo was very intense. Pearls was supposed to channel Dahlia Hawthorne, but she couldn't do it. That's why she headed to the inner temple. However, Dahlia Hawthorne was already there, possessing the body of Elise Stonium. The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find it. She searched the entire inner temple side, end to end. Well, you see, Pearls gets pretty scared when she's alone, and there weren't many places to look. She says that she even went back and forth several times. The inner temple side has two structures, the training hall and a spare prep room. There's also a storage shack, I think. That's about it. There's a storage shack too? Pearls was looking for other people, right? Would she have really examined the storage shack all that carefully? Well, if it was me, that would be the first place I would investigate. So that means it's possible that someone may have been hiding in the storage shack. Next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. Pearls didn't hear the sound of them working on the bridge. What do you mean? I was just wondering why she would stay in the prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go out and wait at the foot of the bridge. Oh, well, Pearlie said she was sleeping at the time. She said she was so scared during the night that she couldn't sleep well and woke up a bunch of times. Poor little girl, all alone like that. Well, we know she had at least one friend in the sacred cavern, Dahlia Hawthorne, who was busy battling with the trick lock. She couldn't let anyone see her, so she wouldn't have shown herself to Pearls. What happened after the bridge was finally fixed?
Hold it!
So it was your first time on the inner temple side, Mr. Godot? That's funny. Am I imagining things, or the defense asked me a question? Mr. Wright, please save your questions for the witness. What you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. Those are your words, Your Honor. Touché, Mr. Wright. Oh well. What did you have to say, Mr. Godot? I'm trying to... My footrest got stuck. I'm gonna stretch it out. There we go. Hot and ice and even hotter coffee. That's what I always say. If it hadn't been for this case, I never would have visited there. Freezing cold temple in the mountains? I think I'll pass. Yes, I do have a lot of plushies. So you'd never visited Hazakura Temple or the Inner Temple, huh? You want to say something, Trey? In any case, I have to find a crack in Godot's armor. I'll cross-examine Maya, that is. Very well, please go on with your testimony. After fixing the bridge, the policeman came over to the Inner Temple side, right? Yes, then Mr. Godot found Pearlie and cheered her right up. He cheered her up? That's what Pearlie said. She said he was a very nice, older gentleman. Thanks for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godot. Here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict. Cut it out, you're making me blush. This guy really beginning to get on my nerves in more ways than one. Truth is, there aren't many places to look on the Inner Temple side. Policemen were all busy going over the garden with fine-tooth combs. So I decided to carry out an investigation in my own way, Godot style. In the same way, I like to hand down verdicts my own way, judge style. Maybe I should ask some questions, Phoenix style. Said that you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything? Looks like my investigation went about as well as yours, Trey. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern. I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles. Only odd thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall. Beauty? Misty Faye, naturally. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb surrounded by the hue of aroma Western taste. Western taste? Could you find a stranger way to describe gravy? So from there you headed for the prep room? Wait a sec, what did Godot just say now? I think his Pearls found the proverbial weak spot. There's only one thing any importance here. Where was Godot when the murder taking place? He must have already been at the Inner Temple when it happened. Otherwise, he couldn't have killed Elise Doniel.
Hold it!
I wanna do the other. He cheered her up. She cheered Pearls up? When I found that little girl, the first thing she asked about was her cousin, Maya Fey. Really? Bridge had burned down and she was huddled up in that tiny shack with no heat. Though she must have had a truly terrifying night out there, she asked about you before she said a thing about herself. Pearly. Noticed that you weren't anywhere on the Inner Temple side, but I couldn't find that in me to tell her, so I gave her my last cup. With milk and sugar, to hide the bitterness of the harsh truth. What a sweet story. He had a thermos of coffee? Why doesn't that surprise me? Only one thing of any importance. Where was Godot when the murders taking place? Okay, it couldn't have been the first time.
Objection!
Mr. Godot. The first time he crossed Dusky Bridge and went to the Inner Temple was long before the murder took place. Why do you say that? Because he just made one fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall. Hanging scroll? But Mr. Godot is right. That scroll shows a picture of my mother. Maya, I know you know who it is, but there's something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this. What's that wonderfully delicious smell? The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy. Gravy? But why gravy, Nick? Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godot, you really haven't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder. You wouldn't have had any way of knowing it was missing. Wait a minute, Nick! Yes? Take another look at the hanging scroll. Look at the top. There's a crest there. That's the mark of the master, correct? Exactly, so if you know the meaning of the mark, then you could guess it was a picture of Misty Fey there. True, but Mr. Godot described what was underneath like this, clad in her stunning Japanese garb surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Oh. Yes, it's possible that he knew what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known what she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding at the Inner Temple long before the crime took place. Can I ask you just one little thing, Wright? What is it? This whole theory of yours all rests on a certain assumption. That I knew beforehand that a crime was going to be committed. That's right. Otherwise, there's no reason for him to sneak into the crime scene. Of course Mr. Godot knew about the plan. Huh? What did you say?
Take that!
This crime was actually planned over a year ago. Morgan Fey authored the plan for her daughter's future. These instructions were hidden somewhere in the Fey Manor for a year. However, by the time Little Pearls found these instructions, they had already been unsealed. Unsealed? Yes, the killer had read these instructions long before Pearls had come. That's how he knew the crime was to take place at the Inner Temple. And you still insist this crafty killer is me? You bet I do. But you just said that the instructions were hidden. That's right! Mr. Godot couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden. If he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out. Yes, and when was that? During a visit. A visit? Morgan Fey told her daughter Pearl about where the instructions were hidden. during one of her visits to the detention center. That would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden. Eavesdropping a visit at the detention center? Yes, it could be arranged if you're someone with easy access in and out of there. Like, for example, a prosecutor such as Mr. Godot. Order, order, order. Y'all, this is fucking intense. Mr. Godot, you're under fire again. This murder could not have been carried out without the prior knowledge. And you are the only one that could have acquired this information before the murder. Just like camping. Yes, intense. Humans are afraid of the dark. And yet, at the same time, we're fascinated and bewitched by it. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness as coffee. Sorry for always asking, what does that mean? Means there's a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit where he learned of a hidden plan for a crime. Discovering the plans, he hid in the Eden Temple and waited for the crime to occur. Then he ultimately took a person's life. And he did all of this just to protect this witness? That's right. If you're accusing me of this crime, I have to ask you, why would I do this? This girl is nothing but a stranger to me. Got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her. She's not. I am what you see. I'm certainly not the type to rescue a damsel in distress. The killer's behavior is certainly extreme, for lack of a better word, even considering that the killer wanted to protect this witness's life. His behavior is still a little too unnatural. However, you had a good reason to, didn't you, Mr. Godot? An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all costs. I knew it. You figured it out, haven't you, Nick? Maya. I guess you were doing your best to cover for Godot. For the same reason, huh? You could stick around to the end, but I have to be in bed. I gotta get up super early for work. Oh, gross. Sleep well. Have a great night, too. Okay, try it. I'm all ears. Let's hear it. It's very simple. Maya Fey is a lot more than just a stranger to you. What is this? It's one person who lies at the very center of this whole story. A person that ties you and Maya Fey together.
Take that!
There's a very good reason why Maya's Fey life is so precious to you. After all, she is Mia Fey's only sister. Mia Fey. You once worked alongside her. That was when you were a defense attorney. Wait a second here. Mr. Godot is a defense attorney? To the honor's piercing intellect, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man who calls himself Godot. His real name is Diego Armando. Isn't that right? The last time someone called me by that name was over 6 years ago. Diego Armando. That name rings a bell. Should, Your Honor. All of this is related to a single case. A case in which a convict named Terry Falls killed himself. Mia Fey's first time in court, the tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. She knew that behind it all was a heartless, scheming demoness in disguise. In the end, Mia couldn't tear off that disguise. However, there was one man who reached out to help her, Diego Armando, a senior defense attorney at the office where Mia worked. It's my fault. It's all my fault that Mr. Falls killed himself. Mia. You can't cry yet. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. I was moved by her. The way she put all her faith in her clients, that pure, sweet heart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dahlia Hawthorne. Mia and I thoroughly investigated that fake kidnapping accident. Then one fateful day, Dahlia wanted to meet with me. It's been 6 months since the trial. We met in the courthouse cafeteria. I just remembered. 6 years ago, right here in this courthouse, you were poisoned. Even I didn't see it coming. Dahlia Hawthorne slipped some poison into my coffee. Some newspapers at the time called it a murder. Very little information about the case was released to the press. But you weren't dead at all. No official reports ever actually called it a murder. Just in a deep, deep coma. I see. My body shut down and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. That woman's poison did a real number on my central nervous system. I lost my sight, all my hair turned white due to the damage it caused. That's terrible. Apparently it was a miracle that I ever regained consciousness. 5 years had passed since I drank that poison brew. Then one morning my eyes flew open from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee. Of course. 5 years? You were asleep for 5 years? The worst possible news awaited for me. Mia Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I had already lost everything I thought I had. The woman I loved had been murdered. The woman I loathed had been sentenced to death. The woman you loathed? The woman who had spiked my scalding hot cup of coffee. Dahlia Hawthorne. Huh. Good old Mia. She didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. In the end, there wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up. That's so sad. For someone like me, for someone who had slipped away their best days, there were only 2 reasons left to live. It was for those 2 reasons that I decided to become a prosecutor. If I may ask, what were your 2 reasons to live? First was you, Wright. Huh? Me? If I hadn't drank that stupid poison, Mia Fey never would have died, much less the way she did. You were the only one who was there to protect her. But you let her die. It was all your fault. It wasn't like that. I wanted to see for myself what kind of a man you really were. That's why you became a prosecutor. Other reason for living, she goes by the name of Mia Fey. You mean me? You were the only way I could make up for the sin of not saving Mia. 1 year ago, when the Curing Village incident was resolved, it was obvious that Morgan Fey was planning something. Whatever her evil plan was, I was determined to stop it. My role as a prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about her. That's how you overheard Pearl's visit with Morgan at the detention center. I knew that the time was drawing near. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. The goal was to outwit the plan. I thought if I could do that, I could keep the girl from being caught up in it. Makes sense. If Pearls had known that the actual purpose of the plan was to kill Maya, she never would have helped out. Finally, the day of the plan was drawing near. I contacted both of my accomplices. Accomplices? Iris of Hazakura Temple and Misty Fey. Especially need the help of Iris. She was to take the fall in my backup plan in case we couldn't control the Fey. But how did you contact my mother? She had been missing for almost 20 years. Officially, yes. What? What do you mean, officially? You've heard about it, haven't you? About the strong ties between the main family and the government? Now that you mention it, Bikini did say something to that effect. She said that the Master of the Curian had great authority. Even without her official position, Misty Fey still wielded great influence. The police have been keeping an eye on her movements all this time. That's how I was able to contact her. Again, because of my position as a prosecutor. So my mother was cooperating with you? Don't ever forget. No matter how far away from you she was, she never stopped thinking about you. She was always... That's why I knew she would do anything to protect you. If you want to know how strong her resolve to protect you was, look at her staff. Her staff? The one with the sword in it? The day the plan was to be carried out arrived soon enough. We met for the first time at Hazakura Temple. That's when your mother showed me her special staff. realized it then just how far she was willing to go. She was ready to use that sword to protect you from Morgan Fay if necessary. Yes, even if it meant paying the ultimate price. Mother. That night, the night of the crime, there was just one way to stop Morgan's evil plan. I mean pearls, don't you? I had to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia Hawthorne. Well, Pearl, what are you going to do tonight?
Well,
If you'd like, you can come to my room. Perhaps we can read some books together. We thought we could prevent her from playing her part in Morgan's plan, but she never showed up. She was worried and followed me to the inner temple. That was the thing we were most afraid of, and that's why Misty Fay had to do the channeling herself. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne into her own body. What do you mean? She channeled the spirit first, then Pearls wouldn't be able to do it herself. As master of curing, Misty Fay's power was supreme, so that's how it went down. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne so that Pearl Fay wouldn't be able to. What? Is this true? My role in the plan was to make sure no one was going to hurt Maya Fay. That's why I hid myself at the inner temple, just in case you needed to be saved from Dahlia Hawthorne. Goodell. Anyway, that's all I'm going to admit to, Trite. Huh? There's no doubt about it. You're a great defense attorney, but you're going to have to do the rest yourself. Background leading up to this incident has been laid bare. There's just one question remaining, Mr. Wright. Who killed the victim? There are only two possible suspects right now. Maya Fay, and I'm sad to say, you, Mr. Goodell. Well, Trite, if you're the real deal, then finish this thing once and for all. Show us beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can finish this on your own. No, Nick, please don't. Maya, I heard the whole thing from my sister, the medical office. That's why I have to protect Mr. Godot. I can't do it. I can't testify against him. After all, he's the man who put his life on the line to protect Mia, and me too. Maya, I know that. Nick. But even so, it doesn't absolve him of his crime. Please, Maya, testify. Miss Fay, your testimony, please. This is the final testimony. Don't bother trying to hide anything because I'll know. I want to hear the truth from your own lips. I understand. I'm sure you're right. I'm ready now, Nick. Alright, young lady, tell us about the moments before you lost consciousness. What exactly happened at the time of the murder? Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights, 3 of them. I thought I'd ask for help, but just then I was splattered with blood. She wasn't dead though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her. Suddenly the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. Just at that moment there was a horrible scream. Right after that, Dahlia collapsed and I lost consciousness. These red lights. I thought you said you don't remember seeing them. I'm sorry. I thought I saw them, but then they disappeared all of a sudden. Things break, Trite. Even the best theories. Who was it that stabbed Misty Fay? Looks like you still can't prove it. Maya's telling the truth this time, I know it. The rest is up to me. Well then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your final cross-examination of the witness.
Hold it!
Lights shining in the dark. I don't think you can make a mistake about that. Yeah, you're right. I think I saw them, but I can't say for certain. And I can't tell you for sure they were from Mr. Godot's mask either. I don't get the feeling she's covering for him anymore, but... But just after that, you turned towards the lights and called for help. Isn't that because you thought the lights were coming from Godot's mask? Yeah, I guess so. Maybe that's what I was thinking at the time. But I can't remember. After all, it was a person I couldn't identify in front of me. Maya's life was in terrible danger at the time. There's no way she can remember the details of the scene perfectly. Alright then, let's get on with the testimony. What did you do when you saw the red lights? That blood, was it Dahlia Hawthorne's blood? I think so, probably. Just at that moment, I heard a soft scream that seemed to be close by. It was a woman's voice. So that was when the killer stabbed the victim from behind with the murder weapon. Is that right? Without a doubt, Maya was in the middle of a really dangerous situation. Anyway, the victim was stabbed by the murder weapon. What happened after that? She wasn't dead though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her. Struck back? How do you know that? Well, you're right, I didn't see it exactly, but I could tell by the sounds of their breathing and movement, and also the smell of blood. You have witnessed more horror than any young lady should ever have to in one life. So then, what did you do at that point? I couldn't move. Could just barely make out their shadows moving in the dark, but I had no idea what to do. Could you still see the red lights you mentioned earlier? Yes, I think so. But...
Hold it!
They went out? Yes, suddenly I couldn't see them at all. What could it mean? Red lights were coming from Godot's mask, and they went out right in the middle of the fight. Maybe the mask was damaged. Or maybe it was knocked off. Or maybe the batteries ran out. Right, Trey? Maybe those little red pinhead-looking lights just stopped working. What could have really happened then? Just that moment, there was a horrible scream. What do you mean by just that moment? Do you mean the moment when the red lights went out? Yes, that's right. The scream that you heard then, was it Dahlia Hawthorne? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was a man's voice. What? What? So then that scream came from the killer? It's gotta be it. I think Dahlia Hawthorne must have taken the blade and attacked the killer with it. The killer let out a scream of pain, huh? After that, the killer stole the blade back and delivered the final blow, I guess. Well, Mr. Wright? Seems to make sense to me. Like a reasonable deduction, but I still kind of wonder. Sorry to say this, but this interpretation would create an enormous contradiction. That makes sense. After all, my deductions are certainly never correct. Remember the testimony she just gave before the killer let out a scream. Maya said she had already been splattered by the victim's blood. In other words, the blade and the staff had already been plunged into the victim. Ah, is that right? She couldn't have struck back with the sword that was already stuck in her body. The weapon that caused the killer to let out a scream must have been something other than the staff. You're so sure about that? Then don't keep us waiting any longer, Trey. There's only one thing I can think of that could have been used as the weapon here. Dahlia Hawthorne had already been stabbed in the back by the staff. What could she have used to strike back at the killer?
Take that!
Naturally, the dagger the killer brought to the scene of the crime. Oh, that's right, I forgot about that. This dagger was found at the crime scene, stuck into a pine tree. Yes, the detective found it this morning and brought it to me. Dahlia Hawthorne struck back at the killer with this, and she managed to wound him as well. Just because he let out a scream does not mean that he was wounded. For all we know, the blood on the dagger could have been from the victim. Have you forgotten the blood has already been tested? Since we learned it wasn't the victim's blood, it must be the killer's blood. The killer must have a wound somewhere on his body. So you're saying the blood on this dagger belongs to the killer? Exactly. A DNA analysis of the blood would prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. And yes, Mr. Godot, it would prove that it's your blood. Nice theory, Trey. Order in the court. Is this the end? Have I done it? I mean, he won't be able to change the results of a scientific test. Let me ask you something, Trey. Let's just say that it turned out that I was the killer. You really think I would be stupid enough to leave evidence like that? What? Just think for a second. This dagger was found this morning by a detective and brought to me. There's already blood on it, correct? But even so, I was the one who brought this dagger here to the courtroom. Yes, what does that prove? Well, if I recall, if I were really the killer, I'd have washed the blade off and then planted another person's blood on it. So it can't be. In any case, there's one thing I can guarantee, Trite. That blood doesn't belong to me. Not a chance. What? Oh my goodness. In any event, it seems to be established that the killer was wounded. Alright then, witness, continue your testimony. Wait a minute! What's the problem? I know I probably shouldn't say this, but there's a big contradiction in Nick's explanation. Maya? This dagger. You said that it wounded the killer. That's right. But... Mr. Godot had really been cut with the dagger. His clothes would be bloody or have a rip in them, right? Maya? Maybe he just changed his clothes? That solved the contradiction pretty easily. What are you talking about? It's not that simple at all. Remember back to the day of the murder. Everyone that was on the inner temple side got trapped there. Ah, that's right. Once the bridge was fixed, the police headed for the inner temple. Mr. Godot was already there waiting for them. He never had a chance to change his clothes. Ah! Oh, every time I think I've figured this out, it turns back around. Or in the court. Well, maybe he brought a change of clothes with him. But no one could have predicted the lightning strike that shut down the bridge. Why would anyone have brought a change of clothes? Judge just take smart pills during the last recess? Well then, maybe the killer took off his clothes before he committed the murder. But he wouldn't have blood on them. That's impossible, Trey. You know how cold it gets up there late at night. For a few minutes with no clothes on, you'd be frozen solid. That's all you've got. I knew you weren't tough enough to finish this. Right now, if Mia Fey were here, she would have closed the book on this case already. Mia Fey were here? So come on, Trite, can you do it or not? How about it, Mr. Wright? You accuse Mr. Godot of being the killer, but can you prove it? Have you got even one piece of evidence? The question isn't whether I can prove it or not. The fact is, I have to prove it. That's the only choice I have. It's not that, it's one of the rules of being a lawyer. I can prove it. I'm going to bring your magnificent vengeance to fruition, just as you want it. Ah, that's good. A fighter to the bitter end, Trey. Since there's just one piece of evidence that can prove your point, why don't we go for the unlimited penalty? Are you trying to pressure me, Mr. Godot? Because it doesn't matter to me. I've got the one piece of evidence I need. Give me a break. You've got nothing, Trey. So what do I do at a time like this? It's simple. You gotta think outside the box and approach this from a different angle. Alright then, Mr. Wright, let's hear what you've got. So one thing I've demonstrated in the previous cross-examination. The killer was wounded. That was proven by the blood on the dagger. But we decided it was impossible for him to have hidden such a wound. If he had been cut by a dagger, there should have been blood stain on his clothing. There's one place the killer could have hidden his wound. What did you say? Hidden? This is it, my last stand. I need to think about this from a different angle. I need to think about why there were no bloodstains on his clothing. I need to show how he hid the wound. It's the end of the line, the final stop, right? Let's hear what you've got. It's this location where you say the killer hid his wound. I mean, it's under his mask, but I don't know what I'm supposed to present. I'm so confused now. I thought it was gonna give me like like the little options like it does. I'm so confused. Where's the potion where you say the killer hit his wound? The wound is under his mask. I figured that much out. I don't know what it's asking me to prove. How I'm supposed to prove that. Just present him? Oh, okay. I was like really confused. I was like, that's what I thought. It's like, do I just have to present him? But I wasn't sure. I was like, am I missing something? I don't know what you're talking about. Frankly, I don't need to know. What do I know is that you'll never be half the lawyer she was. Isn't that right, Trite? What was that just now? Mia? Can't be. You're living on through him? Even as we speak, you're still hiding the wound. It's beneath your mask! During the fight, the red lights given off by the killer suddenly disappeared. Seconds later, the killer let out a scream. That's right, your mask went flying off your face. Mr. Godot, would you mind removing your mask? You have a dagger wound under there somewhere. Then I say this whole case is solved. Who's the intern sliding him coffee? Just now, I saw her spirit in you. It's just coffee under his mask. I never liked you. 6 years ago, you helped the woman who put me to sleep by hiding her bottle of poison. And then, while I was sleeping, you let Mia die. But you didn't care, you just kept living your pathetic, happy-go-lucky life. You even had the nerve to follow in her footsteps as a lawyer. Could never forgive you. That's what I thought. Mr. Godot. But I was wrong about you. I knew it from the very beginning. It's Lou from Back to the Future sliding him coffee, yeah. Truth is, the only person I could never find it in my heart to forgive was me. You? Yourself? I was the one that failed to protect Mia. Me and no one else. Tried to avert my eyes from the truth, to escape from the harshness of reality. Just couldn't face Mia's death head on, so I ran. I hid behind a mask. I threw away my true name. Couldn't even deal with the defense attorney anymore, so I quit. But you saved Maya. Yeah, that was my plan. But until just now, anyway. What do you mean? Are you listening, Maya? If I'd really wanted to save you, then there's one person I should have gone and talked to right away. Who would that be? Are you talking about Nick? But I didn't do it. I tried to get the help of Iris and your mother. I closed my eyes to the most important man involved. Do you know why? The real reason? No? Why? I suppose I wasn't really interested in saving you at all. Huh? I think I was just trying to salvage what's left of my own broken soul. I was trying to make up for the fact that I couldn't save Mia, nothing more. That's why I let you walk right into a situation that I knew was dangerous. Forgive me. You're wrong. You put your life on the line to save Maya. Was it really for Maya's sake? Even I'm not really sure. What do you mean by that? That night in the darkness of the garden when I saw her silhouette? Part of me must have known the truth. Truth that it wasn't really Dahlia Hawthorne standing there in front of me. Could have been Misty Faye, or even that little girl. But I still picked up the blade. It was like I was dreaming. Not sure exactly what was going on in my mind at that point. Was I really motivated by the pure desire to protect my FA? Was it something else? Was it my hatred for a woman who had stolen everything away from me 6 years earlier? It had been simply a desire for revenge. And now, I don't know anything anymore. I did learn something today, however. Finally realized I was the arrogant one. I was just chasing an illusion, a fantasy. Stupid fantasy of defeating you in the courtroom. You were the one who made me realize my folly. You never ran away from me as death. Instead, you picked up where she left off, a true defender of the people. In that one moment, I understood everything. Mr. Godot. Think you already know this, but if you don't, my name is Diego Armando. Mr. Armando, I believe in you. I know you were trying to save me. Thanks. Your wound, it's bleeding. Did you forget already? My world, the color red doesn't exist. These must be my tears. Tears? Ever since I woke up from my coma, I think I've been waiting for this very moment. Mr. Armando. You do well to remember this, Maya. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. This time, it really is all over. Isn't it? Defendant. Yes, Your Honor. Although you weren't directly involved in the murder, tampering with the body in the crime scene is a serious offense in itself. We've seen his face. Go look up Diego Armando. We saw him earlier in the game. We just don't know what he looks like now. Tampering with the body in the crime scene is a serious offense in itself. I understand, Your Honor. Mr. Armando explained that to me very carefully. I knew the risk and I was willingly cooperated anyway. Very well. Before I hand down my verdict, is there anything you'd like to say? Well, there's one thing. I'd like to say something to Mr. Wright. I want to apologize to you. Apologize to me? For what? For the case 5 years ago, of course. I just remembered. Weren't you poisoned by your own lover? Not exactly, but yeah, something like that. Even now, 5 years later, I can hardly believe it. She was going to do it. She was planning to kill me. It's not all that surprising. The two of you hardly knew each other. Huh? What do you mean? You and my sister. You only met twice. Huh? We only met twice? First time you met was that fateful day. The day she poisoned Mr. Armando in this very cat house. Next time you met her was 8 months later. You met her again on the day that she stole your cold medicine. And Doug Swallow was killed. No way, it can't be true. I mean, during our whole relationship, we were... For those 8 months, the woman that you thought was Dahlia Hawthorne wasn't actually my sister. Huh? It wasn't Dahlia? I hope one day you can forgive me. Feeny. What the fuck? This case doesn't stop. You mean... That's right. I lied to you for 8 months. What the fuck? Sweetie, what the hell is this? But why? Why would you do such a thing? Ever since she gave you the bottle that day, my sister was trying to get it back as soon as she possibly could. Because the police investigation and their surveillance. She couldn't move about freely. So that's why you... My sister, from the beginning, she was prepared for the worst. prepared for the worst? She thought that she might somehow discover the truth. That's why she was always ready to deal with you at a moment's notice. And she was ready to kill me, don't you? She already had so much to answer for. I didn't want any more sins on her soul. I begged her not to do it, and she agreed to give me a chance. And that's why you came to me? You came to get the bottle pendant back from me in her place? But I couldn't get you to give it back. I failed at something even as simple as that. 8 months passed, and I still couldn't get it back from you. Finally, my sister couldn't wait any longer. She didn't consult me about her plans for you that day. It was the first time that it had ever happened. That was a bit strange, wasn't it? Until that day, you two were partners in crime, and she would confer with you. I think she must have noticed. Noticed what? My feelings for you. If I had found out she was planning to kill you, I would have done whatever was necessary to stop her, even if it meant her life or mine. Iris. After spending those 8 months by your side, my feelings towards you, they changed. Good fucking lord! Something to say to you too. Yes? You really are the person I always thought you were. Even after Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty, I still believed in you. Thank you. Conflict of interest. Just got home? I'm about to be done, bro. How many cups of darkness have I drank over the years? Even I don't know. I can tell you though, right now, this one here is the greatest cup I think I've ever had. Don't you think so, Phoenix Wright? I was listening when I was driving. Oh, okay. I think you're right. The purpose of this trial was to rule in the murder of the victim, Willie Stonio. At some point, I expect you to be retried for your role as an accomplice in this case. I understand, Your Honor. Very well. On the charge of murder, I hereby find the defendant not guilty! This case was wild. Court is now adjourned. Do I need to watch the credits? Is there anything fun?
I don't remember. I mean, the credits themselves are always fun.
Okay. So I guess it's all over. The way everything ended. Was justice really served? The man who risked his life to save Maya is being sentenced to prison by my own hand. Of course justice was served. Mia! I'm proud of you, Phoenix. Your defense was truly brilliant. But I couldn't save Mr. Armando, the man who cares so deeply for you. You're wrong, Phoenix. You did save Diego. You saved him in the only way possible. You mean, with that verdict? I think one day you'll understand, too. Phoenix, I want you to remember one thing. You're as good out there today as any defense attorney could ever hope to be. There's nothing more you can learn from me. Mia, you've accomplished something I wasn't able to. I owe you a great deal. Thank you. Mia, I'm sure we'll meet again. Someday, Phoenix. You said that doesn't happen. She doesn't ever show back up.
Get a good look at her now.
Handled lots of cases and seen lots of things. Along this journey, I found myself asking just one question. What does it really mean to defend someone? I suppose today's case produced one possible answer. Nick! Maya! I guess it's just like my sis said. Mia? What did she say? That night when I channeled Mia to get her advice on what to do. That's what she wrote back in my notebook. Don't worry, Phoenix will save everyone in the end. Aww. But, come on, cut it with that gloomy face. Can't you see? Me, sis, and I'm sure Iris too. We owe you for everything you've done for us, Nick. Maya. How can you be so bright and chipper after all that's happened? You brutally attacked, you even saw your mother murdered. Youch! Francisca! Still a softie as always, Phoenix Wright. It's my boy! Excellent work, Wright. Huh, Mr. Edgeworth? When did you get back? Oh, that's right. I guess no one filled her in on that. Edgeworth and Francisca have actually been helping me. Helping you? I get to play as him! These two hadn't been here on the first day of the trial. The defense wouldn't have gotten anywhere. Wow, but where were you, Nick? I heard he fell in a river and caught a nasty cold which forced him to sleep all day. Yes, he laid in bed shivering from his fever with Iris's hood pulled over his head. Oh, ouch! Talk about embarrassing, Nick. You definitely need more training. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. And you too, Franziska? I don't suppose... Oh, Larry. There's room for me in this group hug, is there? Oh, Larry. What's with the, longer than usual face? I realized something when I was reborn. I realized Larry was never any use to anyone, not even once. That's not true, right, Nick? What? You're asking me? Well, Nick, is it true? I've got a place in this world, right? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. I knew it. Everyone would be better off if I were gone for good. Can you open the door a little more? It's kind of warm in here. No. Oh, yeah. Those portraits you painted, they were really good. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? What? Me? Why are you making that face, huh, Edgy? Oh, well, yes indeed. Certainly, I can't say they lack resemblance. You really mean it? What about you, Francie? Did I draw you well, too? Ah, my beauty can't possibly be captured by mere crayon. Nevertheless, I recognize the effort you put into it, and that's worth something. So then you'll do it, like you promised? You're going to model for my next picture book? Francie's whipping up. Is that what that said? Don't get carried away. Well, how about that? Get us painting portraits is the only thing I'm good at. Painting a pearl is pretty darn good too, if you ask me. Huh? Now that you mention it, I haven't seen her around. Pearls? Where could she have gone? Normally she would have made a beeline for Maya. Oh, I'll go look for her. Be right back. Hey, Pearly! Right. You seem to be uncharacteristically puzzled. Expect you are wondering how Maya can be so cheerful despite all that has happened? Yeah. To be honest, I can't understand it either. Franziska. That's right. She lost her father fairly recently as well. I think I understand how she feels. Maya is a much wiser person than she appears, and I think she realizes something. Now is exactly the time when she needs to be as strong as she can. What do you mean by now is exactly the time? Maya wasn't the only one that was badly wounded by this incident. In fact, there was someone that was hurt far more deeply than she. I believe it's for that person that Maya is trying her best not to cry. Someone who was hurt more deeply than Maya. Edgeworth, I think I'm starting to understand too. Ow! Then tell me, Phoenix Wright. Who's Maya Fey being strong for? Gumshoe. I mean, Phoenix not on here, so I guess Pearl? I don't know.
How do you not know?
Because I'm stupid. It's Gumshoe. I was thinking he was being strong for Phoenix. But yeah, I guess Pearl, because Phoenix isn't there. Obviously Gumshoe, that's what Mandalore is saying too.
Take that!
Pearl Fey. God, I'm so sweaty. Pearl Kid. After all, that reason she worked so hard to follow the instructions was because she loved and believed her mother, Morgan. For the good of the Fey clan, I'm sure she believed in every last word. She thought she was doing it for Maya. That's why she was so happy. Shows how truly devoted she is to Maya. But it's a cruel irony that it was her exuberance that led to this tragedy. Maya Fey's mother was killed, and Maya herself was put into the deepest peril imaginable. And that's exactly what Maya is putting on a brave face. She's doing it for Pearl's sake, until she can see her smiling again. There he is! Oh hey, so this is where you all were. Wow, looks like we've got quite the bunch here today. Youch! What was that for, sir? Sorry about that, Scruffy. My whip just seems to have a mind of its own. What's up, Detective Gumshoe? Oh, you know, this and that. Anyway, congrats on your win. Let's go go out tonight, pal. Dinner's on me. Sally just sort of calmed down by a teeny weeny bit, but it's alright. Made reservations at a first-class French restaurant tonight. Ah! Pretty good work, Scruffy. That whip was your reward. Detective Gumshoe? Said a first-class French restaurant. You don't mean... Très bien! Where else? I knew it. We're doomed. Come on, let's go, everyone. Can't keep Maggie waiting, pal. Hey, you, crybaby. You're invited, too. Oh, forget about me. Pearl and I will be at the loser shack eating potatoes. You know, Maya's taking an awfully long time to get back. She's still out looking for pearls. Oh, Maya, what's wrong? Nick, what do I do? Pearlie, I can't find her anywhere. Huh? I'll bet she just went back home, that's all. I thought so too, so I called the village, but no one has heard from her. This has never happened before.
Bless you.
Thank you. As I figured, she has been badly hurt by this incident. She feels responsible for the tragedies befallen you, Maya. But none of this was her fault. What should I do? Detective Gumshoe? Yeah, what is it, pal? Could you guys go on ahead? But what about you? Maya and I we'll join you guys once we find pearls. Nick? Don't worry about us, Detective Gumshoe. We may be a little late, but we'll definitely be there. We have a lot of celebrating to do tonight, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. Yeah, but you're the... Yeah! Very well, Phoenix, right? We'll go on ahead. Don't keep us waiting, right? We won't. But where should we look? Where could Pearlie have gone? Let's go, Maya. There's only one place I can think of that pearls might have gone to. Hazakura Temple. For pearls, I bet this is a very important place. After all, it's where this whole incident started. What's this? You're all back again so soon? Sister Bikini? I thought we'd be eating mashed potatoes alone tonight. So she's here? Pearlie's here? She's in the training hall. Why don't you hurry along and go see her? Okay. Pearlie's not here. Ah. Maya, the hanging scroll. Ah. Someone cleaned it off. It's got to be pearls. Ah! Mystic Maya! Pearlie! Why did you just leave like that? Mystic Maya! Mystic Maya! I swore that I would never trouble the two of you ever again. Because it's all my fault that Mystic Maya's mother... That's why you came here? It's the least I could do to pray for your happiness. You don't have to do that, Pearlie. It wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Of course, I'm sad that my mother is gone. But how do I say this? I'm so happy. You don't have to lie just to make me feel better. No, really. It's true. The only reason I'm still here at all is thanks to everyone who's there for me. My sis, my mother, Mr. Armando, Nick, and you. If even one of you weren't there, I'm sure I wouldn't still be alive right now. You'd be in prison, Maya. The amount of times you've been framed for murder. That's why I have to be strong. For all the people that were there for me when I needed them. It's all I can really do. Mystic Maya. I'm impressed. You truly are the daughter of Mystic Misty. Sister Bikini. Your mother, Mystic Misty, was a strong woman indeed. I want to tell you what she said to me that night. After dishonoring the good name of Curian, I don't have the right to face my daughter. But still, Maya is always in my thoughts. It's true. She'll always be with me until the day I die. Your spirit was with her. That's why your mother was so strong. Even at the end, I'm sure she had no regrets. She'll always be with me until the day I die, huh? There's a rule or something all masters are to follow, isn't there? To never take the charm off until the day you die? That's the master's talisman. The thing that Misty kept by her heart and would never take off. It wasn't the container that was important, rather, it was the contents. That's
A photo?
ah. Mother. It's only natural for living creatures to fight to protect their own lives, but what makes us human is that we fight for others. But who do you fight for? How hard must you fight? That's the true measure of what human life is worth. We defense attorneys are warriors who are constantly challenged by that question. Oh. That's so cute! Look at them! Even when the battle is over and the bonds that connect us are severed, we always return, time and time again. Mia, Maya, Pearls, Mr. Armando, and Maya's mother too. I learned that from all of them. They're so cute. This is so cute! Well, shall we get going? Everyone is waiting.
Huh?
This is a day to remember, a day when a lot of things were finally put to rest. I think we should celebrate what we've overcome today.
But I still can't.
Oh, go on, sweetie. You can come back for training anytime.
Okay.
Alright, I'm going to make a brand new start too. Sister Bikini, I'll be back for more training, I promise. I know, and I won't go easy on you just because you're the future master. I'll make sure to prepare reservations for 3 when you come back. Wah ha 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 ha! Alright, we're going to have a great feast today, Pearly. You know why? Because training is a battle of endurance.
Okay, Mystic Maya. I'll eat lots and lots of food tonight.
You know, there's one thing I don't get, and probably don't want to, but
What is it, Nick?
reservations for training is fine and all. But why for 3?
Come on, what do you think? You're one of us, Nick.
Next time you can train right alongside us. Huh? I'll be waiting for you. Sister Bikini will take special care of you. Huh? Huh?
It'll be great, Nick.
We're going to do the special course, naturally. Huh? 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 Huh?
That's a great idea. After all, Mr. Nick, you'd do anything for Mystic Maya, wouldn't you? Even walk on hot coals, right?
We'll have a nice big meal before we come next time, right, Nick? You know, I was wondering if I can say just one little thing. Sure, of course you can.
Oh, I love this part. I can't wait to hear it.
I'm getting goosebumps too. Well then, here goes nothing.
Objection!
This is so cute. I'll really have to work extra hard now. Master of Curing and the office manager of Wright & Co. Law Offices. I have to be a good big sister to Pearly and Nick, too. Well, as long as I'm not locked up or captured or something like that. Thought he was gonna run. Me too.
So it's true, Mr. Nick really is Mystic Maya's knight in shining armor. He went through with the special course all the way to the end. Actually, I heard there's a legendary extra special ultra course here too. I think I'll surprise the 2 of them by making it a secret reservation.
Oh, Nick. Maggie bought me a brand new coat as a present, pal. It looks good. I feel 10 years younger. I'll never take it off.
Yes, but somehow you just don't seem the same. I guess a dirty, shabby old overcoat is just more detective-like, sir.
Don't worry about it. In the name of love, a man will soil himself silly. Everyone in this game is so good. These games are good. I forgot about you. Mr. Wright, I'm once again in your debt. Thanks to you, the Treasures of Curing exhibit was a great success. I even got to see Miss Von Karma, who I hadn't seen in almost a year. She taught me how to use a whip and said that I must show you what I've learned. Oh no. Oh, you. Bessie and I started a company called Mask to Mask Consulting. We're dedicated to stopping the evil plans of all criminals in the city. Our motto is cut it out, please. Pretty cute, huh? Well, we also sell plants to criminals as kind of a side business. I wonder if that's okay. Sometimes I think maybe we're the worst criminals. I wanted to show my appreciation to Mr. Wright for exterminating Don T. Gray. So I lent him $50,000 in a tea set, or $500,000. Special thick tea, one I missed with my own 2 hands. But he's drinking it now. Went through compromise. I forgot some of these characters, to be honest. I'm just old and in the way. Wrinkly, grumpy clown, nose wasted flesh. At least that's what I thought. But my grandkids had a birthday party for me the other day. Talk about embarrassing. 69 years old and I cried like a baby with a dirty diaper. As usual, we have an abundance of work to do. We've hired a new programmer to replace Glenn Elg. Do hope everyone will get along. His name is Adomata. As soon as I heard his name, I knew our brain circuits would align perfectly. My, more reporters? Since the murder, we've made so much money I hardly know what to do. I think the magazines like us because I provide such a nice visual, especially in spring. Can hardly wait for Iris to come back. You've turned into such a respectable man, Feeny. It was so sweet of you and everyone else to come and visit me here the other day. Of course, I was happy that you constantly had your eyes on me, but I felt kind of bad when the little one slapped you so hard you got a nosebleed.
Objection! Objection!
They're all so good. I love her little.
Objection!
Objection!
I forgot about his. What's this? I'm back from a long and tiring vacation and no one is here to greet me? Guess while I was gone, my little whippersnapper buddy quit. Now I've got no one. Forgot what voice I did of her. What kind of lonely, crazy security room is this supposed to be anyway? What's with all the flashing lights and switches? I feel like some sort of space alien. Now what am I going to do with all these macadamia nuts I brought back from everyone? If I bring them over to Edgy Poo, I know exactly what it'll say. I can't really accept these, I'm afraid, or something is painful. I wonder if I'll ever find a gentleman. No, he wasn't in this game, Soul Nerd. It was just all the objections that were in this game. I finally found something I love to do. Francie's whippity-whip trip is going to turn the art world on its head. Should have realized it sooner. Self-centered, lazy, antisocial. I'm an artist. A really good portrait artist. I'm not a loser after all. Aww. Aww, it's so cute. Aww. Is that it? Did I beat the game? Alrighty, I beat the game. That only took 4 hours. Alrighty, I'm ready to go to bed. Then we find out it was all a dream. I would kill myself. Let's see if there's anyone streaming that we can raid. Okay. So, I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll play Kingdom Hearts tomorrow. We're done with Ace Attorney. I'm gonna play Rise from the Ashes by myself. I'm not gonna stream it.
It's a good thing that Phoenix Wright became the greatest attorney ever. Remains that way until the end of time.
Yes. Nothing ever happened. We're stopping here. Everything. He's the greatest ever. I have to figure out how to stream the other games.
I told you that.
Yeah, I gotta do that.
Or you could just like,
I'm just gonna play them, I think. I'm just gonna play the other games. For you guys, this is the end. It never gets bad.
yeah, I like those games.
I was talking about Rise.
Oh, Rise sucks.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna go to bed. We're going to raid somebody. He is playing Stardew Valley. We're gonna raid Travis McElroy. So I will see you guys tomorrow for Kingdom Hearts. Sleep well. I've been doing this for 4 hours. I'm exhausted. So, peace. I love you all. And have a good night. I'm gonna go sleep. 4 fucking hours. Bye.